Welcome, race fans, to the Hard to Drive 300, presented by eRacer, powered by 900 horsepower as well. Man, we have quite a show for you tonight. I'm going to pull up my webcam really quick. My name's Bryant, and I've got my beer. I'm going to crack it open right now because I'm ready for this race. I've also got my popcorn ready because this is going to be an absolutely phenomenal show. Let's go ahead and we'll mute our voice chat here. One moment. Don't need to hear the drivers right now. Take this off as well. All right, so welcome, guys, and we are going to have an amazing show for you. We've got 43 of the best sim racers in the entire world facing off tonight with one of the hardest car and track combinations you will find on iRacing, period. Road, oval, dirt road. This is one of the hardest, and intentionally so. So thank you guys so much. I see NASCAR fan Kimmy in the chat. Thank you guys so much for coming out once again, and we're about to wrap up an entire week of festivities, and you can see here our schedule of events. We've obviously covered a lot of ground here. We're now on Friday, November 13th, 9 p.m., the Hard to Drive 300 miles tonight. We're going to do 195 laps around this mile and a half, and I can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun, and Blake, you got a copy?
I got you loud and clear, Brian.
All right, Blake. Blake's going to be our lead announcer for tonight, but thankful to have him in the booth. And Blake, do you have any initial thoughts as we're kind of wrapping up warm-up here?
Well, I'll tell you the one thing, Brian, is that I'm really, really jealous right now because obviously, being a part of it the last week or so, either being up here in the booth or being out there on the racetrack, as much fun as I've had up here, there's really nothing compared to being out there on the track right now and being able to take part in this. I know I speak for a lot of sim racers that are either sitting on the sidelines tonight because they weren't able to be a part of the 43 car field, or even those drivers that are out there right now that this is an event they did not want to miss for anything. You see the biggest names in sim racing or the iRacing oval world from both present day and years past that have come out tonight to be a part of this. And, I wish I could be out there with them, but unfortunately travel, work, all that stuff has to happen. I'm lucky enough to be up here in the booth with you guys to kind of take it all in. But I'm as excited as anybody else tonight to see one of these marquee sim racing events go on. And, like you mentioned, this is an entirely different challenge than what we've seen. And I think that's why everybody is so looking forward to this. All 900 horsepower is what this car can produce or about to it. And obviously it's provided a big challenge for these guys. And coming out to a track at Atlanta, which is notorious for just eating away at tires, it makes it such an incredible combination. These guys are going to be driving more on the straightaways than they are in the corners. And I think we're all going to be the beneficiaries of it tonight, being able to watch it and see truly who the best sim racers are, because I think that's what a lot is lost in the current conversation of sim racing is, so much of it is about the package or you have to run this line. Well, here tonight, the real drivers get to prove themselves, and after they've been saying for years, well, we're put in a box, this is their opportunity to break out of it and really show who's who.
Just perfectly well summed up there, and just reminding the drivers really quick that they're going to be gridding soon, and they're going to be sitting on the grid for about 5 minutes. They're going to get out of the groove. You can see Alan Bowes here. He's leading practice, trying to hang on for a long run. Looks like he's pulling in, but these guys are going to need to set an ignition switch on their wheel or a button or something on their keyboard to shut off their engine so they don't overheat when they first take the grid. Then we're gonna have a special grid walk where we'll go through the rows one by one as my monitor stand or my my microphone stand's gonna fall down. So Blake, hold on, take it away, Blake. I'm gonna mute my mic.
Well, got to get all the technical issues. Why don't we welcome in Josh? We still got Josh up here in the booth doing race control. We are going to do something a little bit different tonight in terms of caution flags. Not going to be administratively thrown. We're going to leave iRacing to that. But how are things looking in the tower, Josh?
They're looking good. Up here in the booth, we got a lot of things to consider, and the fact that the drivers here are just as good as they are, we're deciding to go ahead and let iRacing take over for those cautions tonight. Some of the weather factors, it's going to be a little bit cooler than what we saw in qualifying. It's about the same weather we saw for the last chance qualifiers and the twin races. So going to be a little bit grippier, quite a bit faster on track, but that also means there's going to be a little bit more tire wear. So just something to consider.
That is the case. There's certainly going to be a little bit more tire wear out here. We'll go
I'm
ahead
back,
and
guys. I got my monitor or my my microphone stand all sorted out, so we're good now. It's nice and tight this time.
Awesome. Well, there you go. But to kind of remind everybody of what we've been going through, this has been a build-up that really started all the way back on Monday night. 151 drivers ended up pulling an initial qualifying time here to try and get in this race tonight. That all started back on Monday. We also had single car qualifying old style on Tuesday as well. Then, of course, Wednesday night began the first of our twin 125s, of which the back half of the grid was set the top 20 in qualifying times for Monday and Tuesday. Got locked into tonight's race. Then the top 20 from each twin was put in. And then last night, we finally wrapped things up. 3 drivers were allowed to race their way in by winning a last chance qualifier. But, of course, they get through all the challenges to get here. Both hot lappers and long run speed able to qualify their way into tonight. But, of course, this is going to be the biggest challenge, Brian. 300 miles at a track where 20 laps feels like it's about 50 laps long.
Yeah, we actually talked to Parker Kligerman before he jumped in the car, and he said he was a little worn out after about 8 laps the other night.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I remember because I ran in the second of the twin 125s. I'll just mention it right now. Started 27th, finished 6th, so we'll get that flex out of the way early. But I remember myself. I was thinking, we got to be around lap 20, 25 of this first run. I looked down at the lap counter. It's lap 12, so the laps here feel about twice as long as they should be, and it speaks to how hard this is. And even looking out of the practice board right now, we are looking out on the board. I saw somebody out there in Landon's chat asking, did Parker Kligerman make this race? He will be starting in this race in the back of the field, but we'll get to that in a moment. A lot of drivers out here, either eNASCAR, Coca-Cola iRacing Series stars or stars of the Pro Series that'll be starting next Tuesday night, both on Podium Esports and on Bottom Split. You can find coverage for that series to see who are the other 20 that will join the current 20 that are in the NASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series next year. So really just a who's who of sim racing made it out here tonight. And again, this is their proving grounds, as I'm sure Parker would like me to plug right there.
Yeah, and we've got AJ Henderson going to be our pit reporter for tonight. All things pit road. We'll defer to him for his expertise. AJ, you almost made the main event. You ready for tonight, though?
I am ready for tonight. I got my drinks. I'm ready to go, just like you, Brian. I've been looking at pit road a lot during the twin races and the LCQ, and I think from anecdotal experience, you can gain a lot of time or lose a lot of time, in my case, on pit road. So I'm very excited to take a look at that tonight, see where a race could be won or lost.
Yeah, and Seth the Merchant's putting on a show for us guys right now on track. He's giving us a little drift session, showing what the tire model is capable of for a couple laps before he blows a tire. You won't be seeing this in the race. He's just putting on a show for the fans in warm-up. That's pretty cool.
I tell you what, it looks like a Formula Drift car, and you will not see I mean, you'll see drivers sliding around like that, but it won't be intentionally because of how much you have to take care of these rear tires here at Atlanta. But it looks like practice is finally wrapped up. Alan Bowes takes down the quickest time in that session, but of course we still have a little bit to go here before we get this full 43 car field that was already set, either based off of their qualifying times a couple of nights ago or their finishing position in their twin 125s. But we also have the addition of backup cars. Some drivers after their race wrecked across the start finish line, and of course we have driver substitutions. So a lot to cover there.
Yeah, certainly. Let's pull down the ticker for a moment, and we're going to go to our pole sitter here, do some rear chase action for you. And Andrew Petranek is going to be starting on the front row, and we're so excited to have some new people, possibly make a name for themselves tonight. Andrew is one of these guys. And Isaac Gann is going to be starting on his outside. Hasn't gridded yet, but we've got Kane Cook on the inside of row 2, alongside Ray Alfala, 4-time eNASCAR world champion in that throwback Pro Geek machine. You might remember that from the 2011 days. We've got Nathan Lyon on the inside of the next row in that 16 car. Michael Cozy Jr. on the outside in that Dale Earnhardt Jr. inspired throwback. Garrett Liebert. What a beautiful car, JD. That's amazing. I'm so excited to see this car tonight. Garrett Liebert's a little bit newer to the oval scene, but he's going to have a good start for tonight. Colin Keister on the outside. And look at that car. That has been updated since qualifying. Exciting. Jake Nichols. Wow, look at that blue. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful work by Jake Nichols on that paint scheme, and that's might be a die-cast finalist right there, as well as Tucker Minter. Very, very good scheme, very basic, love it. Tucker has made the Firecracker earlier this year, and he's made this one as well. So you want to take away the next 10 there, Blake?
Absolutely. We'll look back to row number 6, and it is Jimmy Mullis on the inside, who this is a personal favorite of mine. Brian, in terms of course, I'm going to be biased against my own scheme here, but aside from that, I think this is the best looking car out on the racetrack, and it's a car that we'll expect to see up front here in that Coca-Cola Toyota. Jimmy Mullis, of course, almost made the Final Four in the Coca-Cola Series this year, so he'll be awfully competitive. To his outside, Spencer E. Burns, a nicely painted Dodge is what he'll be sporting here in this one. Directly behind them, it'll be Keegan Leahy, who will start on the inside of row number 4. Amuka Esports, I hope I pronounced that correctly. Their own Brad Wright will start to the outside of row number 7. You move another row back, another driver that made their way through qualifying, of Burton Kligerman Esports partner in Briar LaPrade. And to his outside in 16th will be Liam Brotherton in the, I guess we won't call it Aflac Ford Fusion, because obviously he replaced it with Liam, but you can get the Carl Edwards, tribute right there. Bobby Zielinski, of course, man we know for road courses, and Brian works with quite often the virtual racing school. He'll start 17th. 18th will go to another driver we'll see in the Pro Series starting on Tuesday, Brian Mercurio. 19th will go to Tyler Gary, and rolling off 20th in another beautiful Jeff Gordon paint scheme, that'll be Brandon McKissick.
Yeah, we got Corey Carpenter, twin 125 winner, in a fantastic photo finish from the, with the guy that's starting right behind him. Just an amazing run to the line there. I hope we see something similar. Ryan Doucette on the outside, Pro Series driver for this year. Mitchell Hunt in that Libra car is going to be rolling off behind the guy that beat him out in that twin race, Corey Carpenter. And Blake Reynolds, driver for Austin Dillon Esports, alongside Kevin Harvick inspired throwback. Connor Horn joined us in the booth there for a little while a couple days ago. Thank him for that. He's excited for this one. We've got Adam Gillen, who's having a little bit of connection issues right now. Beautiful paint scheme, though. We'll try to show it real quick. Look at that. And let's keep going. We've got Donovan Strauss, young guy, getting his feet wet with some 900 horsepower. Hasn't really done a whole lot of this. Bob Bryant on his outside. And that's a beautiful eraser paint scheme. Gotta love to see that. Bob's, a veteran of the service. And Eddie Ball Kerner, that's a paint scheme inspired by a bowling ball that is going to be sent to Derek Justice. It's got his face on the hood. One of the most popular schemes, I think, in the chat. Santiago Tires, going to be lining up on the outside. Driver for Steve Letarte this year in the eNASCAR series. Garrett Conrath. I'm sorry. I overstepped my boundaries there. Let you go ahead, Blake.
That's all right. As we continue to try to work through this field, we'll get them fired up here in just a moment. Garrett Conrath will start to the inside of row number 16 in the 31st position. Another great Jeff Gordon throwback alongside him. Colin Bowden. This was originally a backup car after qualifying, and he eventually works his way through the twin 125s. As we'll actually get them rolling here, Will Cooley will start in 33rd. 34th will go to Alan Bose, who posted the quickest time in practice. Andrew Freenage will start 35th. 36th will go to Seth the Merchant. 37th to Brandon Cattell. 38th is Chris Overland. He also went to a backup car after crashing in the twin 125s. Dylan Alt is 39th. 40th goes to Anthony Burrows. 41st, Danny Hansen filling in for Kevin King in that throwback machine that harkens back to the DWC days for him. Eric Smith will start 42nd, and this is where my car is starting. Brian, it's obviously going to be biased towards me. The Thankin E-Racer today Chevrolet going to be piloted by Parker Kligerman after a driver substitution. After I put this car 6th in one of the twin 125s, would have started about 26th. The driver sub is Parker Kligerman for that ride, as he is going to start in the back of the field. But we are ready to set this thing as Petranek going to start up front. Green flag is out for the Hard to Drive 300.
Man, I've never been more excited for a sim race. I don't think this is going to be awesome. As we see this field kind of spread out a little bit, I wasn't expecting that, but it looks like everybody's going to take it a little bit easy. 500 to win race, might as well.
And of course, I think that's going to be kind of the name of the game here early on. We saw it a lot in the qualifying races as well, that drivers are more than willing to take their time to try and be safe. And it looks like they're going to do that here. It'll be Petranek, who, again, Brian, this was a bit of a surprise. We see so many names out here. And even those of you out there watching, wherever you may be watching, we have a whole host of channels that are taking in this one. Andrew is not a name that we've seen very often when you talk about the top competitive ladder here in the oval side of the sim racing world, but he was able to come out and not just get the pole, but do it by a long shot over, again, a full field of some of the best that we've ever seen in iRacing.
Yeah, and we missed an amazing command, but we're gonna do a quick little impromptu gentlemen start your engines, because I think that's certainly worthy of a prestigious event like this. Obviously the engines are already fired, but we thank Kevin James for that amazing command that he did back in the day. I got a recording of it earlier. And we're just kind of cranking it up right now. I'm really just letting these TV3 cameras work.
They are, but one thing that I'm looking at, Brian, is we can go all the way back. There is a huge gap between Ryan Doucette in 24th back to Blake Reynolds, who runs in the 25th position. And look at those guys all the way back in the pack, jockeying for position side by side, about 6 or 7 rows deep. That's about 27th on back, and that's what we're going to see a lot of with a hyper-competitive field like this. You're going to see side-by-side and pretty hard battles that are going to go on. Even back here at the tail end of the field, it's Santiago Tires and Bob Bryant right now, and this is just outside the top 30.
Yeah, this is, where people are really just trying to field each other out. Like, there's a lot of tire saving involved. You gotta manage your tire sets. You gotta make sure that you don't overdrive that right rear, otherwise it's just gonna fall off a cliff. So I think everybody had the same idea of underdriving, saving their tires, and everybody's kind of stepping on each other's toes because everybody's going about as slow as each other, thought that they were gonna go. But man, wow, I'm eating popcorn.
I got some little breaking development story here. Nathan Lyon actually missed the grid and is currently only about 4 seconds ahead of Andrew on the track.
Oh,
You're
shoot.
going down a lap down early.
Yeah, that number 16. Oh shoot, that's not good. I think might have had some issues. He was on the grid earlier, so he might have had some issues. Maybe potentially with starting his engine back up. It's very very possible. Hate to see that though for Nathan.
Now, I will have to say, though, you see this 16 car this far ahead of the field at a mile and a half like this. Does this not feel like that Nathan Lyon could potentially be in the lead right here?
Oh yeah, it certainly could, but nobody's going to get out to that far a lead without paying the price. So we've got Petranek, who is relatively a newcomer to, I think, the iRacing oval scene. I don't know how many starts he has in total, but I've been talking to people who used to race back in the NASCAR Racing 2003 days. And Andrew Petranek was one of the most successful drivers on that platform, and he's showing it right now. He's going out, setting the pace, and obviously got the pole for this event. Beat about 175 drivers over Coca-Cola Series, like drivers that have won hundreds of thousands of dollars. He's just pulling away from them right now.
Yeah, I don't know how long that is going to last. There's just something in me, Brian. Obviously, you got to give a tip of your cap to a guy that's able to come out here and compete like this. But we've seen, and again, I think this is one thing, Brian, that coming into this race, it was almost a disadvantage. We heard a lot of these guys that qualified in the top 20 for this race. They didn't get to run the about 90 some odd laps in the twins in green flag conditions against competitors, racing through traffic. And I think this might be one of the results of it, that Andrew Petranek doesn't have that long run experience against everybody, and maybe he just doesn't know that he could be pushing it too hard right now. I won't say that he is, but obviously, pulling away from a lot of really good drivers, that could be the case.
I actually talked to Andrew Blake, and he did the practice race last night. So he said that he had issues with his long run pace. So maybe he's choosing to just go as hard as he can, maybe catch a yellow at an opportune time. It's tough to say right now. Maybe he's just going the pace that he thinks he needs to go to save those tires. I have to imagine, though, that these guys in second on back are going to start reeling them in, though.
Andrew, on the last lap, actually tagged the wall coming into turn one. He has a little bit of damage on my end. It won't affect his speed at all, but something to look at. He did tag the wall just a little bit last lap.
Yeah. Let's find some. Oh, wow. We got Jake Nichols up into, what is he make a move on the outside there?
Yeah, it looks like it. And, that's a move that we're going to see a lot later on. And even personally, a move that I found to work for me working up through the field later in a run is that middle line, especially about lap 30 or so, is when you're really going to start to see that middle come in. The bottom is just, again, we're talking so much about rear end grip, and once you get later in the run, you're pinching a guy on the bottom, you can get them so loose that you can just carry so much speed into the middle, and then of course all the momentum you carry down the straightaway. That I think that middle line, especially about lap 25, lap 30, that's going to be a primarily passing groove. You don't want to run it right there or right now because of how much you may lose, and it may wear your tires a little bit more. But I think eventually you're going to see that middle line really come into play over the long run.
And I'm sorry, go ahead, Josh.
I was gonna mention one of the interesting things about this field. I think this is the most amount of pro licenses I've seen in one field outside of a Coke Series race. So this is pretty incredible. And speaking of pros, we actually have somebody in the booth who can give us a little insight on driving these cars in real life. Landon Castle, you got us?
Hey, Josh. Thanks for bringing me in. I'm watching this race. This looks like a real life race from Atlanta about 10 years ago.
Yeah, it certainly
That's
does.
awesome.
So, Landon, I think you've been following a little bit the last few days. Do you have a favorite for this race, or are you just, tuning in?
Well, of course, my sentimental favorite is Parker Kligerman driving the Thank It Eraser Today car, because I do believe that I drove that car at Atlanta with this generation race car. So I know what he's feeling right now. And actually, where's he running?
Looks like
Right, 41st is where I have him on the scoring pile. It started back there in 43rd, but Parker was doing a long run in practice. He was able to get to about 47 laps, which, I haven't seen a lot of guys been able to go that long before they blow some tires. So, Parker was definitely trying to hone in that long run speed, but I think he's just taking it easy right now.
yeah, and
So
he did start shotgun on the field landing, so
okay,
not too
yeah,
bad.
he needs to climb through. I was curious. I wanted to ask you, Brian, what is the window right now? I mean, because you switched to this is gonna be iRacing cautions, so
Yeah,
what are we looking at for green flag stops? Are we gonna see some short pitting, or
I think we will. I think if this thing starts to have a green flag look, you might see guys start pitting as soon as lap 30. If they've overcooked their right rear tire, it could be even sooner than that. But I think that, you've got the ability to go about 58 laps on a set of tires and, fuel. They both run out at basically the same time.
what's the difference lap time wise between a guy on 30 lap, the 30 to 50 laps, and then the guy that pits on lap 30 and puts on fresh tires? What is that?
That's going to be about 3 seconds lap. So, and it could be potentially 4 if people really, really start struggling. The thing is, you have a lot of...
Why would you go to lap 50?
So, the thing that you have to consider about this Landon is there's a lot of fall off from lap 1 to, say, about lap 15. You lose about 2 seconds in that span. So you're not...
Okay.
It's not a linear fall off like you might imagine.
So all your fall off is in the first 15 laps, and then it's pretty flat from there on, or it's kind of tapers a little bit. Which, by the way, we just got an awesome raid from J-Bo on my stream here.
Oh, awesome.
Thanks, Justin.
Well,
I will say, if you save your tires pretty well, it kind of tapers off. But if you go a little bit too far, the cliff can be massive. We're talking at the last 5 or 6 laps of the run, you may be giving up 2 or 3 tenths every single lap thereafter if you run those rear tires off a little bit. At least from what I saw the other night.
Yeah, and Ray Alfalo just made a really great pass there on the outside of Colin Keister. He's looks like he might be trying to make a move on Kane Cook here, as it looks like Petranek is starting to fall off, guys. His last lap was a 33.32, and the guys behind are running 21s and 22s. So I think that Taco Bell machine's finally starting to feel the effects of that hard driving.
I think so too, but look at all of our top 3 competitors, for the most part, are all running in the middle group. Petranek's done it as well. You see Kane Cook and Ray Alfalo, who have all kind of migrated about half a lane up from the bottom. It's about lap 20. I didn't think we would see this early, but obviously it's working for both Ray and Kane. They're starting to reel in Petranek about 2 tenths a lap right now.
Yeah, it's really looking a lot like real life, Landon. I mean, talk about that. It's amazing. I personally thought that this race was gonna be gridlock, more like the Twins, but everybody's taking it way easier this race.
Yeah, they're really clean right now, which I love to see that. I mean, that's like the style of those mid 2000s NASCAR intermediate tracks. The first stretch of the race just gets spread out. Everybody gets settled in. You can see the track opening up the groove just a little bit here in Atlanta. I mean, I love seeing that second groove in turn 3 and 4 at Atlanta. It's a tough one to run, and it's kind of a sneaky groove because you see so many people go up to the wall, and then some people paint the white line.
Tucker Minter making a good move here on the outside of Colin Keister.
You can see that line that Tucker's running where you put your right sides right on that seam. There's a lot of grip right there if you hit it just right in real life, and I think it obviously is working the same in iRacing. So those seams make a big difference at Atlanta. That track when the pavement is so old, those seams sometimes have more grip than the pavement itself.
You have to even think, Brian. This is in Landon. This is pretty much the around the time period where this racetrack was scanned too. It's not like we've had a recent scan of Atlanta where it is super bumpy. So this is pretty much almost an exact replica of that track that you would have been racing on about 10 years ago.
Right.
Got a lot of great battles around the whole track. Looks like Brandon Cattell side by side with his slip angle teammate Santiago Tires. Man, Jake Nichols whipped up that scheme for Brandon Cattell today, and that one looks really nice. We'll get a close up on that one.
It does.
And
You know, we're so used to thinking throwback, and maybe this is because we're all getting old, but when we think throwback, we throw back to the 70s and 80s and 90s. But man, it's so cool to see throwback schemes of cars that we ran just 6, 7, 10 years ago.
And Brandon was a little bit upset with me before the race. I made him go to a backup car because after his twin race, he tried to pull into the garage area, and there's an invisible wall there. So he damaged the front end. I said, okay, that's a backup. He didn't quite agree with that, and on second thought, I think that I agree. But at the end of the day, it only cost him 6 spots on the grid, so he understood, and we're glad that he's such a great sport about it.
And not to mention, he's up 5 already, so he's only 1 spot behind where he would have started already.
Yeah, and let's move ahead a little bit here. We've got some big movers in this race. Let's try to pull up the amount of positions they've gained on the ticker here.
I can tell you right now, Danny Hansen he's on a mission to get towards the front. He started towards the back of the field. What was that, in the about 40th or so, around there, and he's already gotten 12 positions on track and continuing to move forward.
Looks like we're gonna get a pass for the lead here, guys.
Oh yeah, here comes Kane Cook to the inside.
Yeah, I think this is where Petranek really kind of realizes that he may have run his car a little bit too hard, because he pulled out to about a 2.5-second lead, and all of a sudden that's gone in an instant. And Kane Cook, now the leader of this race. I gotta say though, some of the guys that were making up time, I think you got Jake Nichols and Isaac Gann kind of waiting here behind Petranek, who may be falling through. Obviously Ray Alfalo, which, I mean, my goodness, if you didn't pick him to win this race, I don't know how you can pick against him with how much success he had in these cars back in the day. But I think there's a couple of guys that started up front here who may be pulling kind of what we saw Garrett Lowe do the other night, kind of over-saving a little bit. And with the caliber of drivers in here, this race could go green for a very, very long time. So saving like that, I think, is easier to do in these races with how long it's going to be than it may have been in the Twin 125s the other night.
Blake, it's a good note, though, for these guys that it took 30 laps. I mean, he's still leading the race here, so more than 30 laps for them to get back up to him, and they still haven't really challenged him for the lead quite yet.
No, I think you're right. And, of course, with the tire sets that we have here, we have 12 sets sitting on pit road. So this is, Dale Jr. sitting with Goodyear Eagles just stacked around his pit stall here. Everybody's got the same set. So, I mean, we would already run, what that could get you, if I could do my math correctly. I mean, that's
you got plenty
a little over, 15 lap runs. So if Petranek were to ever get these kind of, yellows where maybe we're going 10 or so laps and everybody's having to come down, he's obviously shown that he can pull out a little bit to a lead. So it's definitely a balancing act. Yeah,
and right. Look at the line that Kane's running. Right now we're looking at Kane, your race leader, and Kane Cook, and man, he's, especially in 1 and 2 down here, guys, he's way up the track. It's remarkable to see. Look at him. He's all the way in that second groove, or in that above that, that first seam. That's pretty good, considering.
Is that just the product right now? I mean, and maybe talking iRacing specific for a minute, because we know that dynamic track is a great conversation to have. Is this just a product of so many green flag laps with 43 cars on the track, no cautions to cool the track down? I mean, are we seeing the most of what the dynamic track has to offer right now?
From the racing I did earlier, and even the individual testing I did, it just seemed to be you just got so loose on the bottom later in the run, trying to wrap it around the white line and killing the rear tires off. That with how hard you can charge the corner in these cars, you're just not sliding the rear end as much on exit, and it's a much smoother transition on the straightaway, which. I think that's probably the most interesting thing about this race, Landon, is, and you could speak to it as well, that I think these cars, from what I drove the other night, they are much harder to drive on the straightaways than they are in the corners.
I do want to point out, though, that Landon did raise a good point. The track temperature is already up 5 degrees from when we started. We started at 131, and it's already up to 136 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's getting warmer, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And that's about what we had in qualifying, isn't it?
It was 139 in qualifying. I'm sorry, I had beer in my mouth, but
Don't apologize.
I think no, that's nothing to apologize for. I think the main reason the outside is working is just how loose these cars are off the corner, and you need all the track you can possibly get on these long runs to just kind of. You're just keeping that wheel so still and just barely moving it off that turn. And if you have to crank on it a little bit, that right rear kicks out and you lose all the run. Whatever run you got through the center is gone if you got a car on your outside.
Oh, you can see how much right-hand wheel he has.
I'm starting to look out now. I looked at Andrew Freenage. He's back here in 37th, and oh man, is he struggling. We're starting to see now, if you ran your rear tires too hard, we are starting to see guys sliding all over the place, particularly in the tri-oval.
And these are guys like Anthony Burrows won our Twin 125 the other night. That just goes to show how competitive this field is. Granted, he did start in the back, but man, it's so hard to make progress when the entire field. I mean, the first 33 cars are only separated by 8.5 seconds right now.
I want to.
That's crazy.
Last lap around, I don't know if you caught it, but Isaac Gam made a little excursion with his left side tires through the infield grass, so he's getting a little squirrely off of turn 4.
I'll tell you one guy that's on the move that I really have my eye on right now is Jimmy Mullis. He's been kind of waiting back there in the 7th or 8th position, started in 11th, is up to 5th. He made his way by Isaac Gann after he slid off the corner, but right now that Coca-Cola Toyota Camry is looking awfully sporty. And one thing, Brian, that I didn't think we really expected when we started doing this was how much the draft comes into play here, that you even when you're in traffic, you almost kind of want to run behind people, because I guess just with the aerodynamics and the way the car tomorrow works in iRacing, it just operates like a box and just punches such a huge hole in the air.
AJ, do we have somebody taking pit road right now?
We do.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, they just.
Oh no, we got
Mitchell
somebody.
Hunt.
Somebody took out the cone.
Oh, we got 2 people on pit road. Mitchell Hunt is coming off.
Let's see. Looks like
We got Jarrett Liebert on pit road, the number 5 car.
Jarrett Liebert hit the cone, so that's going to be a penalty for Jarrett. Oh man, that's a tough break.
Looks like there's a lot more. Chris Overland just called that he's coming to pit road.
It'll be interesting to see. I mean, I would imagine that these first couple cars that come in are going to drag the rest of the field in with them. I would, anybody that's really thinking about their strategy, man, I'd be surprised if somebody goes 10 laps longer than the rest of the field. I mean, you're going to lose almost a whole lap.
Well,
Yeah.
I think if they're going to pull that strategy, they're not so much looking to make up time. They're looking for these guys don't know how to pit with this car because it's so difficult to get on pit road. I mean, we saw Parker Kligerman the other night. He overran the pit road entry under caution because these things are they don't slow down very well. So we could be seeing I guess you would be hoping for an accident at that point. We still see a bunch of cars making their way onto pit road.
And those
Seeing a green flag stop on
man.
40 lap tires.
Oh,
is not
man.
even-
I think we might have some black flags from these pit road entrances, guys.
Man.
And just pointing out that it was the front 3 that just pulled down pit road. So we got about a 10th, and we're going to have a large group here pitting right now.
Petranik's on pit road, our pole sitter.
Pit
this
road's
is
getting busy right now.
Landon. This is what you wanted, man.
This is what I wanted. I wanted to see green flag stops. I want to see it cycle through and see how this works.
And one thing I will point out that's very interesting in the in the twin races, we had a competition caution at lap 39, and as soon as lap 37, 38 hit, we started having people pull down. So it looks like people are going to try and split this up into 40 lap runs if they can.
Yeah, certainly
Looking
might.
like that's the case. That's what they're used to, and of course, like you said, I just think there's so much time to be lost getting back up to speed. Now, of course, with the huge time difference, I've seen it plenty of times as a sim racer myself. You pull up on a car when you're 3 seconds faster, and just because of that, something happens, and obviously a caution comes out because you come up on somebody so fast they just can't anticipate it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we're seeing here. A couple of guys trying to make their way by some guys that are still running in the top 10.
Yeah, I'm pulling up this calculator, guys. So 195 divided by 4 is 48.7. So we're going to see another wave of cars down pit road, I believe, at lap 48, 49. They're going to be splitting this up into 4 different pit stops, or four segments. So they're going to make it a 3-stop race. The guys that pitted before then on lap 40, they might be trying to maybe add an extra pit stop to their strategy.
We're having the field work its way through. Those cars that did get tires are now working their way through their leaders, and I can say that the leader out of right before this whole cycle started, Kane Cook, he was on pit road for 40 seconds longer, so he got an excessive speeding penalty.
Chris Overland just got held up a ton behind those cars.
And that's the one thing you don't take that's hard to consider when you are short pitting is, you think that you're going to make up all that time on fresh tires, but you end up in a lot of traffic, and you can lose 4 or 5 seconds off of what you thought you were going to gain. Just if you get held up 4 or 5 times and you lose a second for each lap, or maybe less than that,
And
it definitely can cost you.
the lead is tightening up, Landon. We've got Jimmy Mullis, Ray Alfala, Isaac Gann. They're all right under a blanket here. This is going to be such a close race. And look, you can see that how fast the cars are who have taken tires. They're just storming through the field.
And the 26 car just pulled down to pit road on lap 44. Going to be working, probably doing 4 tires here in field.
As Bose,
Oh, he missed his
Overland,
pit stop.
Bose and Overland go by with those fresh tires.
Jammed it in there. In the
Yeah,
turn
he
three.
did. And thankfully, Ray gave him room. We could have just had our first yellow of the night there.
Oh, we about had Anthony Burrows pit directly in front of, it looked like that was the 09 of Eric Smith. That was about a caution. That's the other thing. I think these guys are playing that strategy because, let's say you get a caution right here. Everybody, do you even take the wave around? I mean, of course, the obvious answer seems like yes, but you're going to be so much slower if you take the wave around and you have 10-lap fresher tires and everybody else just pulls away. You may get lapped in really no time. So this is what I think a lot of these guys in the top half of the field are trying to do, is kind of take these guys that are really fast and trap them a lap down.
And Brad, new
Go
leader,
ahead.
Brad Wright, has just taken the lead over Ray Alfala, and he's still on the same tire strategy as everybody else, obviously, but he's up 13 positions from his starting spot.
And Keegan Leahy just pulled down to pit road as well. That's going to be happening. And off of Blake's point, you gotta take the wave around. You just, cautions breed cautions. You gotta hope it happens.
Yeah,
It's going to be that's kind of a bet you gotta make there.
that's a really, really tough call. I would, imagine if we do have a yellow, it's possible to have another quick yellow, but I'd also hate to be so much slower.
Yeah, well, you also got to think, if you're just racing for the lucky dog, everybody else a lap down, you're the only one on fresh tires. You would easily be the lucky dog in that scenario. So there's a couple of different ways you could attack that.
We're going to have a huge group of
A lot
cars
of
come
guys
down pit
coming
road.
Burns, Alfala, Mercurio.
Ooh, looks like
Any more?
is that Parker. No, I couldn't tell who that was.
Oh, they're all coming. Look at them.
We got a ton of cars on pit road. Whoa, almost lost it on entry there. That was about as dicey as you can get it.
All right, what did I say, guys? What lap is it?
Lap 50.
All
Right
right,
when
this
you
is the
said
second
yeah.
strategy.
Gosh, 50 laps is a long time on those tires. Bree Cooper in my chat asked if somebody threw bacon grease on pit road entry. Was that you, Josh?
Well, I cannot confirm or deny anything, but this section was brought to you by Smithfield Food.
Nathan Lyon. I'm interested to see where Nathan Lyon shakes out. He waited a decent amount of time to come in. We'll see if he loses any time in the leaders. He's only about 5 seconds ahead of the leaders before pit stops, so we'll see if he's able to stay ahead of him once he comes out.
So is that everybody cycling through now? Is there anybody left?
We have 7 cars out.
Yeah, Bobby Zielinski, Michael Cozy, Donovan Strauss, Liam Brotherton, Bob Bryant, and Parker Kligerman, as well as Eric Smith. They have not yet come down pit road.
And I have to apologize to Bobby because he flat out just drove around those guys. I thought he was on new tires. He actually was on the same strategy.
At this point, in my opinion, if you're staying out, I mean, you're really just hoping that the chaos of these green flag stops are going to cause a caution. I mean, there can't be a strategy.
The thing is,
staying out on his older tires that is actually going to work out.
The thing is, Landon, I think that the way the fall off is not linear, that lends itself to this longer strategy. So you very well might be able to do something. It's just an extra pit stop. I don't know. I don't know what the correct answer is, and obviously the drivers don't know either because one of them's right and one of them's wrong.
Well, and I got to say, and I know this is something entirely different, it was the same thing that kind of put me in victory lane in your rainout race a couple of months ago, all the way back in May at Charlotte, was if the draft is a benefit, it almost kind of helps you more to maybe give up a little bit of time, losing time on those tires. Eventually you take fresh ones, and the draft and your tires kind of pull you up a little bit quicker than what it would typically be. So I think there's something to be said for that, although of course this is a little bit different here, what we're dealing with.
We're looking at Bob Bryant here. He's clocking 34.26s. Our leaders are and Parker Kligerman, I believe, is also not pitted. Eric J. Smith has also not pitted. There's 3 cars out here that haven't pitted, and right now they're about 3 seconds slower a lap, so they're just flat out in the way. Is Bob Bryant saving a little fuel there? I thought I heard him clutch.
It's interesting here. Bob Bryant and Parker Kligerman, you could say, are teammates. Bob Bryant drives for Parker in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola Series. So I'm curious if there's a group effort here to try and make something happen on the track.
Well, I mean, we're getting to the point. They're 1-2. We're getting to the point. Do you think about if you can go another 10 laps or so? You're thinking about just a 2-stopper.
Yep, he's clutching. He's clutching.
Point.
He's clutching. Bob's definitely saving fuel.
And you got to think, okay, so are they losing a ton of time right now? Yes, there's no doubt about that. But you got to think on the flip side of this, everybody else is going to pit a little bit sooner, and you just continue to add to that advantage. If you stay out 20 laps longer this time, that means you're staying out almost 40 laps longer by the second time it cycles through. So, again, maybe they're just trying to pull something. Parker really had nothing to lose starting in the back of the field, so he's just trying something different.
The drivers on that first strategy, Chris Overland, a couple other drivers, they're only 7 seconds from retaking the lead from Bob Bryant. So clearly going to go, obviously 1 lap down. Probably, it's possible if he keeps doing this, 2 laps down. So in ill time,
really running right now?
Bob just did a 34.51. So
Tucker Minter just took over second place. He looks like he's going to be taking the lead here pretty soon.
And what are his lap times?
He just ran a 33.0 while Bob Bryant ran a 34.5.
So Tucker Minter,
about a second and a half quicker.
Tucker Minter is the first driver. Yeah, he's the first driver that pitted on the lap 40 strategy, approximately, give or take. Right now, let's see. He's got. Let's take a look and see. He has 17 laps on his tires. He's doing 32.98 right now. That last lap. Wow.
I want to point out for anyone who's a Jarrett Liebert fan or Liebert, he has left the session and is now position 43. If you're curious what happened to him.
Yeah, and he told me earlier today he had some storms rolling through, so it's likely that might have been the cause of that. Sadly.
Well, Josh would know all about that.
No lightning here yet, so knock on wood. We'll keep those thunderstorms a little bit offshore today.
Now, Brian, I'm intrigued with the strategy right now.
I am too.
Realistically, what is the fuel window?
The fuel window can probably be extended out to maybe lap 62 or 63 if you like saved from the beginning. I would anticipate, let's see what lap Bob is on right now of his stint. He's on lap 59, so he should be coming down pit road any moment.
Hey, guys, Eric Smith is coming down pit road right now. He was one of the three. Oh, he lost it.
Oh, he made it in.
Is that his pit stall?
He missed it. Oh man.
I had to back up a little bit. He's going to lose.
That's going to cost him even more time that he was already losing.
Yeah,
the track.
that's not good.
Oh man, what a good recovery though. That was pretty nice.
Those when you're in one of those early pit stalls, they sneak up on you real quick.
Yeah, that's one thing with Kligerman. He's all the way back in 43rd, so he is the first pit stall. So I don't think he'll be overshooting entry this time. And you see he's going to come on pit road right now. Oh, yeah, he's going to miss it. He's going to have to back up a little bit. Apparently, it's hard to stop on 60-lap old tires.
Even if they stick with, I mean, looking at green to the end here, not that, I mean, we're really early for that, but that still puts them in a position to have to pit with 15 laps to go, which is kind of awkward.
Yeah, it certainly does. But a timely caution, for $500 could play dividends. But I just don't know how long it's gonna pay off. This first run, it paid off. They were out in the lead. They expected maybe to get a yellow. They didn't get it. Maybe they expect a yellow this next cycle, but I don't know how long they're gonna be in the lead in that scenario.
Bob's coming in this time by. He's going to be pitting about halfway down pit road.
All right, let's see. Let's take a look at Bob Bryant's pit entry here. We got a nice camera angle down here on pit road. Here he comes, nice and smooth. That's one of the smoothest. Yeah, that's the smooth pit entry.
You got to think these guys are almost on the verge of blowing tires, so I mean that could be something for either Parker or Eric. Is you're coming down the pit road, you're locking up. I mean I got to imagine those tires are maybe 10% away from blowing up, but just a little lockup might be enough to do it. So lucky that Bryant was able to figure that out and enter really smooth there.
Which looks like Parker must have already pitted.
Yeah, Pete.
Yeah.
A couple laps. Yeah.
Missed a stall a little bit, so that'll cost him a little time. But Tucker Minter leading the charge with this 40-lap strategy. So let's go ahead and we'll divide 195 divided by 4.
So right now, as we sit, by the way, there are 5 cars 1 lap down, of which 3 of those are the people who stayed out till lap 60, as well as Nathan Lyon and Kane Cook. Kane Cook is the one who got that 40-second penalty.
And the Tucker Minter is 24 laps into his stint. He's on a 4-stop strategy. Ray Alfala, let's see, the first driver on a 4. Let's see. Looks like Keegan Leahy is going to be the first guy on the other strategy where they're going to make 1 less pit stop. So he's in 8th right now.
Landon, when you're on new tires, how much of a Superman do you feel like when everyone else is on 10 or 20 lap older tires?
Say that again, Josh.
When you're getting new tires and you're going out there, how much of a Superman do you feel like when you're just going a second, 2 seconds faster than everyone else?
Oh yeah, new tires are gold, man, and that's what these guys feel like that are going to be. Oh, I mean that's what Bob Bryant feels like right now. Other than if he looks at the scoreboard and sees where he's at and having and scoring.
Yeah.
Other than that, he feels like King Kong.
let's do a Bob Bryant check here. We'll go on board with him right now. He's coming off turn 4. He's 3 laps into his run in 39th place. 1 lap down? Am I seeing that right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
And he's coming through the field.
He just ran about 2 seconds quicker than the leaders.
And where is the leader at this point? He's coming. Bob's coming off at turn 2 right now.
The leader's in the middle of 3 and 4.
Okay.
So this is
got about 5 more laps till he's gonna unlap him, probably 6 more laps maybe.
Yeah, it won't take long.
interesting strategy right now. 71 of Mitchell Hunt, who was the first car down pit lane last time, has just gone down pit lane again. So are we gonna just see a consistent green flag pit cycle the rest of the race with all of these different strategies playing out?
That's a little bit early to be making your second stop. I don't know what Mitchell's idea of that is. Maybe he, burned his tires up a little bit, but
Oh, we got contact in turn 3. It was Ray Alfala and somebody else. Keegan Leahy.
Keegan
Leahy's now coming to pit road.
Oh no, he's got damage.
Yeah, you got him to the right rear of Ray Alfala. Looks like he was trying to maybe get down and get to pit road. Alfala was there, and just kind of pancaked Alfala. I don't think Ray will be too hurt by that damage, but interesting to see some guys who know each other pretty well getting together.
Yeah, Bob, made a look 3 wide there with the new tires. Had to give room, and Keegan tried to turn in, and on old tires like this, you just can't turn down. With a car on your inside or just getting clear of that car on the inside, you can't turn down like normal. So, it just a honest mistake there. I think Bob didn't do anything wrong. Ray and Keegan probably could have done something different there, but definitely nothing intentional there. That's too bad for Keegan. Keegan's sitting on pit road, and that's gosh, I hate to see that. That's too bad. Keegan was having a great run, and he was probably going to challenge for the win here.
This is another update for Bob here. He is now he's the lucky dog. As long as Tucker doesn't pass anyone else for a lap down, he is 2.5 seconds behind Tucker and about to get his lap back the hard way.
Yeah, the challenge is once more people start pitting, he's going to lose his lucky dog position as the 10th, 15th place cars start getting into their second cycle.
Guys,
Ooh.
Keegan Leahy has left the session.
Wow.
Oh.
Just gonna retire the car.
Yeah, I wonder. He immediately pitted after that contact. I wonder if he was scheduled to pit or if he somehow got like a meatball from from hitting the wall that hard.
Meatball.
You can see that.
Maybe he was pulling down pit road and they were just analyzing the damage to see how much was there and if it was even worth going out there to try and compete.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. As
you hate to see that.
the 09 of Eric Smith is on new tires here, going around. This is a nice battle with Bobby Zielinski and Brad Wright here. That's for the 10th place position.
Can we just talk about, and really it's been a theme this whole week, how clean this entire thing has been.
Mm-hmm.
We know a lot of people, they kind of have the thing iRace know where you're just going to log on and you're going to get wrecked. We have seen the drivers in the toughest car on one of the toughest tracks on the service, definitely one of the hardest combinations that you can throw out there. And these guys, both in the Twins and tonight, have been extremely clean, even if they're running that close together between Wright and Zielinski right there. I mean, it just goes to show that these guys, when you put them up to the task and you give them a challenge, like you can see Zielinski and Molis right here, perfect example. If they're running the Modern Cup car, they're not giving each other that much room off the corner. But you have to give that kind of extra level of respect with how much wiggle room there is with these cars. We saw Michael Guest the other night slip up in one of the Twins and get loose on the straightaway, and it caused an accident. That would never happen. With the caliber of guys that are in this field, that would never happen with the cars you drive now. But you have to kind of give that extra little bit of room because there is that little bit of margin of error with these cars that you just don't see these guys really have to deal with much anymore.
And this is a really interesting development right here, Blake. We've got Colin Keister passing Jake Nichols, and these two are on separate tire strategies. Jake, unless he decides, okay, I'm gonna abort the extra pit stop strategy and extend my run. He just got passed by somebody who's theoretically, if they, all things staying the same, if they pit with the same number of laps on their tires, he just got passed by somebody who's making one less pit stop. That's Colin Keister, and right now Colin potentially in the driver's seat if he can make his way up to Tucker Minter there, and he's not too far behind, about 5 seconds behind the race leader.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right, and Keister, really no shock to see him moving his way up. He picks off another 0.2 of a second right there over Tucker, and it was one thing. I'm surprised about how many drivers we've seen who started up front who have really run into issues. We saw Jarrett Liebert. He started 7th. He's obviously gone to the garage. He's out of the scene. Liam Brotherton is also out. He's going to finish in 42nd, but Nathan Lyon started 5th. He's a lap down. Kane Cook started 3rd. He's a lap down. Michael Cozy started in 6th. He's running all the way back in 24th. So it's really been these guys that were around that 10th to 15th place range, not necessarily the guys that brought all that speed in qualifying. They're flexing their muscles right now. We've seen a lot of that kind of midfield start to march their way forward and kind of stake their claim, I guess.
Yeah.
Looks like second round of pit stops are starting here. Eddie Kerner just came off of pit road. So as Connor Horn just signaled to everybody he's come to pit road here.
So it was lap 40 was our first wave. We're approaching lap 80, so we should see that first wave of guys make their second stop, and then lap 50 was our second wave. Is that right? So close on lap 100. So you can see the marbles and all the rubber buildup on the racetrack.
Yeah.
Looks beautiful.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to have like a pretty decent stream of pit stops for the rest of the race if we don't get any cautions.
Yeah, I think Chris Overland just called out that he's going to go to pit road. Andrew Petranek, he is going to make his way onto the safety of pit road. And again, we went through an entire cycle, no issues as far as accidents are concerned. And obviously these are not admin controlled yellows, so anything on the apron, perhaps a guy spinning through the grass, that could be enough to trigger a caution. We didn't get that once. We got a lot of mistakes, but we didn't get anything that amounted to bringing out a yellow flag. So hats off to these guys because, I can tell you on 30, 40, 50 lap old tires, I don't care. It is hard to pit at this racetrack with this car.
Certainly is, and saw a few people. Chris Overland had a moment there on pit entry.
Either had a moment or you
Jake
did it
Nichols?
just right, though.
Yeah, that's right.
I can't tell you how many Coke races I've watched where guys look like they're spinning out. Oh, Tires drifting it in.
Boy.
Oh, man.
You want to stay straight if possible, but you know what? If not, might as well just, get a little sideways, slow you down a little faster.
Yeah, pit road entrance is going to look like a drag strip just from guys locking up coming into it.
Now, I don't know if anyone here has any Larry McNuggets, but what's the likelihood here that we're going to go green all the way to the end?
Well, Josh, I looked at the last 10 laps or the last 10 races that we've run here in the car tomorrow at Atlanta, and the data is so old, it doesn't really apply to what we're doing here.
Thank you,
Throw
Larry.
out the notebook.
Thank you, Larry
Thank you,
Mack,
Larry.
for the cameo there. We appreciate you stopping. No, Blake's really good at impressions.
I'm good at a couple, don't get me wrong. I don't do a lot, but the ones I do, I mean, that was probably a 6 out of 10, maybe.
Hopefully
I thought somebody was pitting. No, okay. Let's go back to the other camera angle. Donovan Strauss in 10th right now, doing a good job. The youngest driver in the field right now, in that 51 car, folks. I think he's, I'm not sure exactly how old he is, but he's definitely under the age of 18, I do believe.
That is correct.
Not even close. I mean, anybody can remember that watched the Landon Castle qualifying challenge that Strauss was one of the competitors that nearly took that thing and won 10 grand, which I just can't imagine. I started sim racing on iRacing at his age, and I can't imagine going from just starting out to being somebody who could win $10,000 on a single lap. That's just mind-blowing to think about how good he is at his age. He'll be in the Pro Series and have a chance to go to the Coke Series at, I believe, 14 years old. I mean, that's just unbelievable.
Oh, 14. Whoa. Okay. I was way off. Another driver I want to highlight here is Corey Carpenter, won one of our twin races. He's up 9 positions from his starting spot, doing a good job in that Pennzoil car.
The front stretch is getting busy right now. Two sets of cars going 3 wide.
I guess I'm missing all of that.
Oh.
Who's going
so,
3
so
wide?
they're on the backstretch now. But
Well, it's so much different. You think about 3 wide a night ago, everybody was on the same strategy. Now you have guys who are, a second faster than who they're passing. So we're going to get some 3 wide here. We're probably going to see it a lot the rest of the night, but obviously the speed difference there is going to make it where, guys aren't leaning on each other for an entire lap 3 wide. I'll tell you, I was in the middle 3 wide for about a lap and a half the other night, and I think it took a year off me.
Yeah.
Brian, so we're on lap 85 here.
Mhm.
We saw a whole wave of cars come in on lap 50. Are we close to seeing? I feel like we've only seen them trickle in.
Yep.
This kind of.
And I think that's
Are these guys going longer?
that might be the other guys realizing, oh wow, an extra pit stop is not going to work. And I think you're seeing a lot of guys as we missed it, but Colin Keister in the race lead drove by. Tucker Minter, I believe. Let's see, he pitted, but Colin took the lead, and I have to imagine that some of those guys are starting to second guess their strategy of the extra pit stop, just because I think that the fall off is so severe the first few laps and then it kind of stabilizes a little bit that Colin and Isaac are the ones that might be fighting for the win here.
I think so, and it's really no shocker to see Isaac Gann up here contending for this one. A guy I've raced with for a long time. This guy was leading the Road to Pro series last year, 2019. He was leading the field, and he said, "You know what? I just don't feel like doing this anymore," and just stopped with like 4 races left, and still almost made the top 20. I mean, he's obviously been competitive. He missed the first 2 races of Road to Pro this year, ran the 3rd race, got 11 points, and still found his way into the top 20 pretty comfortably by the end of the season. So Isaac Gann, somebody that I think can kind of, I wouldn't even call him an underdog, but could kind of sneak up and would be one of those names that maybe not everybody out there recognizes, but he's certainly capable of going out there and competing. And I know personally he helped me a lot with trying to figure out qualifying. Certainly didn't work for me, but it did for him.
Yeah, and he's just all over Colin Keister. Not surprising. These 2 are up front. These are 2 that I was looking for. But Bobby Zielinski, somebody that did not test as much as I would have liked to have seen. He told me before the race, I haven't really tested that much. I hope, did you change the setup at all? Oh, okay, you didn't change it. All right, well, I didn't really do a lot of practice, so we'll see what happens. He's in 3rd place right now.
Somehow the cream just always seems to rise to the top in these situations, and for Zielinski, I think it's no different. Anybody that watched any of the road course races in the Coke Series this year, I think knows what they're talking about. That was a pretty sketchy moment right there. That's a battle right now for 2nd, and Brandon McKissick's going to make it nearly 3 wide off the corner.
Oh, yep, you can see McKissick there in that Jeff Gordon throwback. So Bobby right now has 2 lap fresher tires than Isaac, so you can see the difference in tires there, or just a different. As we've got so much going on, guys. I don't know if we're not going to be able to cover half of it.
Yeah, there's crazy 3 wide passes and all sorts of stuff going around all around the track. It's crazy.
Kane Cook was on the apron right there getting by guys, but he could do it on fresh tires.
Yeah, and Bobby's looking for the race lead right now, and I believe this is going to be the battle for the win if this can stay green. So, by some miraculous stretch of odds.
I want to say this real quick. We see another 3 wide here as Brandon Cattell gets by Keister and Zielinski as they battle for the race lead. That this is a driver's race. These long green flag runs, you get these green flag pit stops to matter, long runs. This is exactly what you want to see as a driver. So if you're out there and you're kind of trying to figure out all these strategies, everything with tires, know that these drivers are having a blast. And I know Zielinski having a blast more than anybody else. He goes to the top of the board.
There he goes.
That's just incredible. You know, seeing that go out there. Also, hands, you know, we got to put our hands together for the fact that nobody out here has gotten or turned around or anything like that. We're almost halfway through this race and we're still green. And it tells you these are the best of the best.
My number is lap 100 though. That's what I'm looking at because, you know, 50 was kind of late for a lot of guys to pit. Maybe lap 110. Maybe lap 110 is a good one to mark. But like 50 to 55 was pretty late for a lot of guys. So for those that pitted on lap 45, 46, and they're still out on the racetrack, I mean, they're getting way up there with on their tire wear. I mean, I could see that maybe this is the run that we see some blowouts. Somebody's gonna push the issue too far.
Ryan Doucette takes second place, and I tell you what, guys, he's on 4-lap older tires than Bobby, and he is coming in a hurry, running the same times as the leader, getting by those 2 cars there. Oh no, hold on, he's a tenth slower that last lap, but I think that our man Ryan Doucette, who's shown so much speed in practice, and he's up 20 positions from his starting spot. I think the amount of effort he's put in, no surprise, but one of the guys that might not be as a pick to win this race is currently chasing down one of the greatest, Bobby Zielinski, right now.
Well, and Ryan Doucette, I was teammates with him for a little bit. He won the top split Road to Pro race at Rockingham.
Trouble! Turn one! Right in front of the
no.
leaders!
Oh,
It's Parker!
Josh Parker Kligerman.
Oh my! Oh no!
Let's see.
And
What
I think-
happened there?
Oh no, that's just going to be a single car incident, guys. Ask Parker to
looked
bring
like-
back. Yeah.
Looked like he got on the wall or something before
his
that
back
incident
end's
happened.
destroyed here.
So this was a call that I made 3 days ago. It didn't happen. That we were going to see somebody on the entrance of 1 right near this black kind of Cup Series marking that's at the top of turn 1. This is going to be where something would happen. Somebody would get loose and pound the wall, and that's exactly what happened to Parker Kligerman is thinking E-Racer today. Chevrolet just gets loose in the tri-oval and is trying to track out of the corner and just makes a huge mistake and just pounds the right side of the side of the car.
I don't know if that was a mistake or he might have had something happen with his hardware or the screen. I know that the most difficult part of this track is the front stretch. There's no surprise, like everybody's talked about, the front stretch is the most treacherous part of the track, believe it or not. And it's possible that he made that mistake, but very easily, you know, his cat could have jumped on him. I don't know if he's a cat person, but that's
Nah, he likes White Claws.
There we go. So we got a lot of people going down pit road right now, and right before this caution came out, we had several people come down pit road, including Briar LaPrade, Colin Bowden, Anthony Burrows, and that's going to trap them a lap down. The free pass is going to go to Briar LaPrade, so he's going to get that back, but everyone else is going to have to take a wave around. And that was only 2 laps before the caution flag did come out.
And in my chat, I got Will Norton in the chat. He's saying that something just gave out of nowhere. He thinks that the tire blew. And Will Norton is a very successful driver himself. He knows what he's talking about. He's in sim looking at the replay right now.
Wow. So, yeah, what interesting, which, I mean, if the tire went down on Parker's car, he went much further that first run than what he was on the second run so far. So just pushing the tires that much more can make that much of a difference? That's insane.
Yeah, I suppose it can. You know, and Parker's had some of the least amount of practice, obviously. He's been a busy guy the last few weeks, traveling all over the place. No surprise that, you know, it's easy to make a mistake. But I really think that, you know, maybe Bob Bryant baited him into that strategy, and it just wasn't right for him. He probably needed to pit a little bit sooner than Bob.
Well, the one thing, I think it kind of talks to what Landon was talking about earlier with feeling like you're Superman when you're driving around people and you kind of lose sight of what you had to do to run that far on that first stint where you almost went about 60 laps. I think when you're just passing cars and you feel like Superman, you kind of lose sight of that. You don't think about saving those tires over a long, yeah.
And we've got a
Hey,
ton of wave rounds right now, guys.
Hey guys, I got a little report from Parker Kligerman's crew chief. Said that the car just got a little loose on the straightaway and he lost it, hit the wall. Not sure what happened there, but no tires down for the 66 car today.
Oh, and one of our biggest contenders for the race win, Bobby Zielinski, is going to be receiving a speeding penalty.
Oh, no.
That changes a lot right there.
Wow.
Let's find Bobby here. Where are you, Bob?
And we pull out
Nice.
some of our Larry McReynolds stats. What's the chances that we get some more cautions here? The guy's going to be more aggressive, trying to get to the front. What do you guys think?
I think Larry's in the he's in the lounge right now.
What are we up to for track temp right now?
It's actually down to 133 with this,
Yeah.
this caution flag out, so it's dropped 3 degrees. Yeah, look at all these wave rounds happen. Now, the person who has the oldest tires on track right now is going to be Kane Cook and Tyler Gary, who both have tires that are just a little bit over 17 or 18 laps old apiece.
Yeah, I'm seeing Briar LaPrade going to take the wave around. Colin Bowden, Dylan Alt.
I believe Breyer
Burrows?
got the free pass.
Oh, okay. And then we got Burrows, Cook, Hunt. Looks like Hunt's trapped a lap down, so Hunt won't get the wave around. He might have elected to, not take that wave around or wasn't eligible for it. We'll have to check on that. But yeah, a lot of wave rounds, and they'll have to restart single file.
Cars?
It looks like about 10 or so. But we're gonna go green here, so I gotta switch back over the leaders, Landon. Ryan Doucette's gonna lead him to the green. I know that.
All right. Do we think that we were settled out there? We had a long green flag run. You think the confidence these guys have now? They got fresh tires. They're going to try to be making moves. We could see a couple more here. I think as we're 3 wide up front, Corey Carpenter slid through the middle as he tried to look to go 3 wide. Oh man, I think the aggression level is going to pick up here. We may be in for something here soon.
Oh yeah, look at him. Look at him. This looks way. Oh, as we got a car in the wall off too. We've got way more aggression than that first run, and this is looking a lot similar to the twin races. We're gonna see a gridlock back from like 15th on back.
Oh, Overland's in the middle. Bose is in the middle.
Now you're looking at either a 2-stop race at 30-lap intervals, roughly, or you could split this last segment in half.
How many laps do we have to go? Let's see.
192 at the moment.
Oh, Eddie Ball's going to go 3 wide on the bottom. This is for 20th. Overland's 3 wide in front of him. Oh, man, this is getting good.
Have you ever? This is amazing.
I was in the middle, so
And
it's not never, but it's rare. It was rare on that first run for these drivers.
and this is such a hard thing to manage.
Yeah,
do you
this
go
is
hard?
incredible.
Do you try to save your tires? I mean, do you try to make your way forward here, Landon?
I mean, I don't know. It's just a question of, if we're going green all the way. I think if you're restarting 10th on back, you're going pretty hard right now. You're just trying to get track position. Even if it goes 25, 30 laps and you get a caution, it's a no-brainer to pit.
Ooh,
If it goes 30 laps with no caution, you might just be thinking about a two-stop strategy. So
look at this gridlock.
I could definitely see driving hard.
Oh, the 67 and 24, that was Connor Horn and Jake Nichols made contact. They saved it. Now the 67 going to go to the middle. He almost gets into Will Cooley.
We got
Bob Bryant.
Seth the Merchant's taking the race lead. I hate to go away from it, but Seth the Merchant, my pick to win the race, just took the race lead. I'm really excited, guys.
Oh, Andrew Petrinik is always going to shove Donnie through the middle. I'm sorry to keep going back here, but...
No, we'll go back there. We'll go back there. Well, we're right now we're on Mercurio. We can go back a little further. Oh
swear,
man, these guys are
I got-
not saving as much, and they might, Landon, as you said, they might be planning maybe an extra pit stop. It's just their strategy might be all over the board for this one.
Well, and maybe it's just that now that we've finally seen a caution, that idea of going green to the end has gone out the window, and everybody is just betting that there's another caution one way or another.
And that's your shot at winning. If you want to win this race, you have to push. You can't sit back and ride, I don't think, right now.
Yeah, I mean, if you restarted 15th on this last restart, you're not going to win this race by going green to the end.
No.
No,
You got to move up and advance, and then get a lucky caution, and come get tires, and try it again.
Yeah.
yeah.
You gotta try to make ground.
And they have so many sets of tires on pit road. You have to think any caution that would come out now, you'd be hard pressed to not see the entire field.
Oh,
like if we had a caution right now, I think everybody would come down.
Oh, yeah.
Well, especially because you got the wave around cars too.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's their
same
three
little
wide.
tire
Gill and Carpenter, Bryant, three
they're
wide.
tight.
They're tight. Yeah, you gotta pinch them down. That's part of the game. You gotta pinch them.
There's not a lot of love given. Oh, Eddie Ball's going to have to shut the door on, I believe that was Connor Horn again.
Oh,
They are still 3 wide. Reynolds is loose.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's a stack up right there. That's going to force someone in the back there to go 3 wide on the outside.
Oh, we got contact back here. Somebody got bumped out of line.
I think that was
That's
Connor
stack up.
Horn.
Yep, Connor Horn.
Isaac Gann is in second place now, guys. But we'll stay with this amazing battle for 14th.
It looks like Reynolds going to be on the outside. Bob Bryant's going to take over 3 positions from 12th to 15th in a single lap is Bob Bryant. Reynolds going to have to shut the door on Gilliland. Kerner's looking to make a move on the back of Gill, and he almost gets into the back. Oh, man, they're sliding.
Yeah, they are.
Brian, can you get us a quick look at what the pace looks like now compared to when the race started, just to get an idea how much harder they're on?
Let's try to get an idea here.
Man, I know by the eye test they're fast.
I'll get back
That's
to
all
you.
I'm
I'll get
saying.
back to you in about 40 seconds.
Bobby Zielinski up to 24th after getting that EOL.
Right now, Mitchell Hunt would be the lucky dog. We got a caution. He's ahead of Parker Kligerman right now.
I'm going to go back to Petranek really quick to check his lap times. So right now, yes, the pace has picked up significantly. Right now, Seth the Merchant is lapping faster than Petranek was that first run. So he's pushing it as hard as he can right now.
Now, track temperature 134 compared to, I think we started about
Whoa, we got a wreck in the
136.
back.
Oh,
Got a wreck and a yellow flag. A yellow flag is out. That was towards about 35th
That's
or
Tiras.
so.
it's Tiras.
He doesn't have too much damage, guys. I think he'll be able to continue without too many problems. But like you said, Landon, you got to push hard, hope for a caution. This is the caution.
Yeah, anybody that's made progress on that restart is benefiting now. They come in and get some fresh tires and re-rack it, start it again. You know, hopefully you moved up from 16th to 12th or something like that, and chomp at it again.
I'm looking at this replay right now, and Santiago Terres kind of gets into the back of McKissick, and that's just going to cause a stack up from behind, and he's going to get punted out of the way by Andrew Farias. All right.
Yeah.
Hope I pronounced that right. Freenaz, thank you.
Freenaz just got in the back, and Santi probably wasn't. It's so easy to misjudge where your nose is, and plus you got guys saving tires. You got guys that are doing the opposite probably back here. Okay, let these guys run ahead. I'll pass them on the long run, and probably Santi just wasn't expecting that big of a checkup and just got in the back. But I think we'll see some pit stops now, guys.
Yeah, it looks like everybody on the lead lap's coming in.
That is the case. Mitchell Hunt, who of course he'll be able to pit later. He's the lucky dog right now. Parker Kligerman and Tyler Gary. They'll be the 2 cars that take the wave around, so they'll eventually get back on the lead lap. Don't think in our wildest dreams we'd see anybody take 2, but did McKissick even come down pit road? No, he missed his pit stall.
That's a mistake
And
you can't be making this late in the race.
Keister wins the race off pit road. Seth the Merchant going to lose the lead. I think he's going to go back to 3rd. Bobby Zielinski made up a lot of track position there after that speeding penalty.
Yeah, he got up to 23rd before that caution came out, so
You know,
he
he's
did a
digging.
nice job.
Yeah. All right.
God, remember when we were talking about long runs and saving?
Yeah.
Geez, wasn't that a fun time?
Let's just throw that notebook out the window. I think we've come to Caution City now.
Yeah. And keep in mind, these guys get 12 sets of tires when this race started, on top of the set that they started with. So
how many of
they're going to have about 9 or 10
9 or
sets
10?
left. They're going to have plenty of tires.
All right,
And
so
just
McKissick's going to come down pit road here, so he missed his stall. He's going to give himself a de facto speeding penalty almost at this point to come back down. And, you know, this is one thing. You don't have a lot of races where you have 43 cars. I know a lot of these guys do a lot of official racing here on iRacing, usually 20 to 30 people. So you're not always used to having every single pit stall with the pit box, and if you don't have a spotter counting you in, it can kind of be difficult, and you have to remember where you qualify, because here in iRacing, it's obviously pit stall 1 through 43 is based off of just where you qualify, so you have to remember that. And you know, that's a mistake a lot of people I know made in the 125s too.
And just an update, Tyler Gary and Parker Kligerman actually came down pit road as well, so they're still going to be a lap down, but just a little update there on the battle for that lucky dog. Tyler Gary did beat Parker Kligerman out.
And who was our free pass that time by?
Mitchell Hunt.
Mitchell Hunt, and that was a strong car. I think he just I don't know what happened with that unscheduled pit stop. I think he came down a little bit early and it bit him. But Mitchell Hunt has shown incredible speed, about the same speed that Seth the Merchant has shown on the long run. So I expect him to move forward.
You know, shout out to the Hilton Wi-Fi, because it is holding up really strong right now. So shout out to those guys.
You guys don't know, Blake is calling this race from his hotel room.
And not exactly at the rig. We brought out the old laptop. We're getting a nice solid 45 frames a second right now spectating this race. Tell you what, it makes you appreciate that old rig you got back home.
Yeah, and Johnny Hockey in my chat says Blake should have taken his whole PC and connected it to the hotel TV for the monitor.
Before we go green, in chat, why don't you guys drop who are you rooting for on this race?
Yeah, and who do you think's gonna win too?
Yes.
I am curious. I have no idea who's gonna win. This is so competitive.
We have Brandon Brown on Twitter says, "Let's go, Jimmy Mullis Racing." So.
Okay, Jimmy.
Yeah, I would bring my computer down here if I didn't have to drive on I-85 in South Carolina.
Let's
anybody who's driven it knows what I'm talking
Give
about. So I don't trust driving with that piece of equipment in my car.
give a shout out to this paint scheme real quick. Jimmy Mullis, what a beautiful paint scheme that is. That's probably my favorite paint scheme in the entire field, that Coca-Cola machine. To come to the restart.
Pace truck is in. A little bit of a check up there on that inside line. Seems second place of Seth the Merchant didn't get that launch he wanted. Or third place of Seth the Merchant.
Man, look all the way throughout the field. They are side by side.
So we've got the 77 making a look on Brian Mercurio. That's Bob Bryant. He's probably happy to be on the lead lap after that wacko strategy he tried to pull.
They're still working too. Donovan Strauss able to make the middle of 3 wide work back here for about 19th, though. They're going 3 around Connor Horn. Blake Reynolds is in the middle.
Yep, and Jake Nichols, seems like every time we go back to him, he's 3 wide. No surprise here. And that Dodge, that's a beautiful paint scheme, by the way. Like that.
Car, no car.
Oh, he's still gonna
Unless
be stuck
it's
on
my
that.
car, because it's a Chevrolet.
Chris Overland on the race lead. Sorry, I stumbled on my words there, but Chris Overland.
We need to talk about that, because isn't he making donations for every lap he leads?
He certainly is. Blake, you want to handle that?
Yeah, it was agreed upon that Chris Overland and Parker Kligerman were going to team up for every lap that they led. They would be donating to the assist program, applied suicide intervention and skills training program that I know my twin is very happy to have that on the Thinking E-Racer today Chevrolet. But obviously an important program to him that he utilizes in the United States Navy to obviously raise awareness and to help people coping through a difficult time, which I know especially for a lot of veterans right now. I know my brother and I were talking recently about a lot of people who, because of the pandemic and COVID, they went through basic training, and right now they're in Japan and they haven't seen their families since they got sent off to basic, which is already a pretty difficult time for a lot of those guys. So, that's a pretty important program. I know he's proud of the work he does and proud to have it on the car. And cool that Overland and Parker came together to do that. And, I mean, he's going to raise a lot of money because he's got about a 4/10 of a second lead right now.
Yeah, and Ray Alfala is pulled into the second place position. I think Ray's got plenty of speed for the short run. Not sure about that long run. I think he's still trying to feel this thing out. I don't think he had much practice, but Chris Overland's the race lead. I mean, guys, Chris, I just circled it, but Chris is running some really, really fast laps right now.
Yeah, he's got about a 6 car length lead over Ray right now, and I'm not sure if it's gaining right now, but he was about a 1/10 of a second faster that last lap.
Another small flex, Overland did finish that race in my rearview mirror just behind me. So, again, just throwing that out there.
Well, Blake, if you wouldn't have had to go down to where you're at right now, you could be out there leading this race.
Well, probably not. It's a lot easier to be up here in the booth and be a has-been and talk about it than to actually be out there doing it. Yeah, 3 wide, back in the pack.
I think we got somebody in the wall right now.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's just barely off of it if he wasn't
Adam
on.
Gilliland.
Oh, Danny Hansen's going to shove it up the middle beneath Tucker Minter. He's going to be Force 3, and
That's close. That's close.
Oh,
This is a caution that Chris Overland would probably be okay with right now, as he's really going fast out front. But they managed to sort it out.
Last lap for Chris Overland, 3/100ths of a second faster than Ray.
Man, I wish I was out there. What do you think? Blake, Landon, Josh, AJ, I want to be in this race so bad.
Oh man, I can't imagine how wore out these guys are, but it has to be so much fun at the same time.
I mean, I don't have my Coleman gallon of water next to my sim rig, so I'd probably have some trouble getting through it, because I got to tell you what, I was drenched the other night, and I mean, that was only 80-something laps. I mean, this is 200.
Yeah.
And I think I know my place. I'm going to stay right here in the broadcast booth. I'll let everybody else out there do the show, because I'll be the one 43rd spinning out.
Man, Bobby Zielinski back here trying to fight back from that speeding penalty. We saw him, man. I think Bobby was one of the favorites for this race. Just got that speeding penalty, and now he's a man on a mission right now. He's back up to 21st. I think he's been saving his stuff a little bit, anticipating maybe a little bit longer run. But then again, maybe this is just gridlocked in front of him and he has nowhere to go.
I think this is around the point in the race, Brian, where you see there's a blinker there right near Zielinski, that a lot of these guys, this is a private event. They're not racing for points. This is kind of a, try to go out and win. And that's the most important thing. If you're back here where Zielinski is, you see all those cars in front of you, and you can be one of the fastest cars on the racetrack, but you're just so mired in traffic. Mm-hmm. You almost have to think here, do you just kind of come down pit road and short pit just to try to do something different? Hope that something works, because the odds that you're going to get through all this traffic and still have a chance to win this thing is slim to none. So when are these guys back here, not just Zielinski, but anybody back here? You see Carpenter right there. You see Petranek right there. Do you start to kind of just think, what's the opposite of what my competition's doing to just give myself a chance? Because if it's win or go home, that's really all that matters.
Yeah, I don't have an answer. It's really hard to play the strategy with this race. Obviously, if everybody could just run as hard as they possibly could, maybe Andrew Petranek would be still up there in the race lead. but there's so much tire saving involved that you just and the cautions kind of throw things for a loop that we just really don't know. As we see Eric Smith really working that top side and that blue, it's like that Pepsi machine there, flash by the screen.
Well, Brian, tell me. I mean, this might be the craziest idea, but what's it look like if we get a 10-lap run and everybody comes in and you just come in and put rights on?
Oh,
I don't know if we've seen anybody do rights at all the whole week.
Oh, Landon's thinking outside the box, which I'm a big fan of.
Yeah, thinking outside of the box is what wins you races.
Exactly.
If you do
You can't...
the same strategy of everyone else, you're not going to differentiate yourself.
I would. Oh, as we got Eddie Kerner.
Boy.
Eddie Kerner making a big slide off at 2. Eddie Ball in the chat. Any Eddie Ball fans in the chat? But no, I think if you change that number from 10 to 5, I think you got yourself a deal. You gotta make up track position somehow.
well, and you got to think if it's a net gain. If you're back here in 35th, you take 2 tires and it gets you up to 9th. Even if you fall back 10 spots, you're still moving up. So where's kind of that cut line of guys who are, is someone in 10th going to try to win the race on a 2-tire call if it's 2 or 3 laps to go? That's where it gets interesting. Battle for second here. Here comes the 4-time champ. Ray Alfalla to the inside.
Yeah, it looks like actually Colin's going to take that spot away on the outside. Ray was occupying the second place position, and now he's going to
is Ken going to go 3?
Yeah, I think Ray was saying, okay, I'll go hard. There's probably going to be another yellow, and there wasn't. So now I think, Chris Overland just lapped a 32.97. Keister was passing, so we'll go with Isaac's lap. Isaac just did a 32.92, so a little bit slower, but oh man, Chris is just sliding that right rear a little too much, I think, guys, to stay in that race lead.
I think so too, and
good donations being made here.
Yeah, well, I also have to think draft is still a slight advantage.
Yeah.
So being that car in second or third is not necessarily a bad thing if you can stay within a second. And it looks like Overland, maybe he's slowing down, or obviously Keister's catching him at some point. I think I just heard a call over the radio. Somebody's going to come over pit road. It sounded like Ken took the voice.
Maybe Brandon Cattell?
Brandon Cattell is coming down pit road this time by.
Well, he would know a thing about winning e-racer events, so we'll see if it works out for him.
That's only 20 laps,
He
though.
made it. He made it. He made it.
He's short pitting for sure here. This is a big short pit, as we have a pass for the lead right now.
Yeah, you see Keister's going to go to the inside.
Oh, it's
Colin
tight. It's tight.
Is going to go pit now.
I see a little damage on the right rear of Chris's car. I'm not sure when that happened, but do see a little bit of damage there.
There's a big stack of... Oh, this is going to be... Oh, they save it! I don't know how.
Where is it?
It was towards the back of the pack. I think around 30th, there was a car, 2 cars coming down to
third, fourth.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
All right.
Garrett.
I missed it. I couldn't get it.
Oh, that was with Overland and Keister sliding around, battling each
Garrett
other. They
Conrath
almost made
got...
contact.
Yep, now they're 3 wide back there. That same little group that got checked up.
Oh, yeah. Big battle back here. And everybody's stepping on each other's toes. There's guys on different strategies, different tire saving strategies, different everything. Just a lot of different driving characteristics that are just different that bleed through with this high horsepower package. Oh yeah, it looks like Nathan Lyon has a little bit of right front damage. That's not good.
No.
He was probably involved in that the little stack up there coming to pit road, and it was, I say little, but that's about as close as you can get to wrecking without wrecking.
Oh, and the target car there, who's that? He's got a lot of front end damage.
Got another car coming down pit road right here. 2 cars coming down pit road.
Yeah, you'll see this often in real life where guys come down pit road and because they don't want to lose the time, they start to do it. But guys, this is going to be a 60-lap run. If you're coming down here, I'm assuming you're going to go to the end. You're putting in the bank that hey, we're going to go entirely to the end. That's tough.
See that towards the back of the pack, getting 3 wide and getting real dicey back here with those faster cars on fresher tires are just working their way on the outside, just passing by everybody like they're stopped. They're on the carpool lane trying to get to work as fast as possible with those fresh tires.
Was that another beer I heard crack open there, Corey?
No,
Or
no,
Brian?
no,
Corey.
no beer, but I'm
That
just
target
I'm almost out of beer. I need another one.
that target car with the damage is Dylan Alt, and he is definitely off the pace now after getting that damage.
Yeah, and we didn't document this really, but Jimmy Mullis up to P3, really solid, smooth, steady driver. One of my top 6 picks I think I had for this race. He's just so smooth, guys. He's very smooth operator. Doesn't make a lot of mistakes. Doesn't talk a whole lot. But, keeps to himself. Just methodical. One of the most methodical drivers I think on the entire service. But
Guys, I think I have something to report. The Parker Kligerman has come down pit road, and I don't see any work being done on that race car, as he's going to lose about 2 or 3 laps here. I think old Parker may have retired that race car.
yes, Jimmy Mullis. Sorry to switch topics, but Jimmy Mullis passes for second place here around Isaac Gann. Isaac, Colin, Jimmy, 3 guys that I really expected to be up front. Chris Overland really impressing me right now, guys, that he's able to hang as close as he is, even with, running as hard as he did at the start of the run.
No, I think you're right. You've seen a lot of people who get out front, and once they get past, they just drop like a rock, and Overland's done enough to just hang on to these guys. But there's so many cars flying through the field. I just don't see how we're not going to get a caution here. We've seen, I think it's Colin Bowden right there. You see coming off of turn 2 and that Jeff Gordon machine. He's going to go to the inside. He's obviously on fresh tires, and he is just wheeling it through this field with 20, 30 cars stacked up like this soon after a restart. Oh, boy, big slide there. Oh, man.
Man,
that was Mullis.
Oh,
That's just getting intense right now, and stack up through that whole pack right now.
Oh, you see Connor Horn almost in the deuce set. How is that not a crash?
not sure.
Oh, boy, oh, boy.
Andrew Petranek is going to be working on the outside here now with this group that's just been bouncing off each other like pinballs.
Oh, man, these guys are running just nose to tail right behind Connor Horn right here.
Petranek making some headway here. Look how fast those new tires are, and this is the strategy. Will a 60-lap run to the end be a stop middle of the run? Landon, I have no idea. I didn't make it 60 laps on gas, but I can certainly see you having the ability to save 2 laps rather easily.
I don't know. I mean, we saw Bob Bryant was losing the lead. I can't remember, did he lose the lead at the end of that 60-lap run?
He did, yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah. Well,
going the full distance may not be the winning strategy.
oh man, it's gonna be tough because Petranek's just getting. I think he's just getting held up. This is where he needs to make up his ground too. Early in the run, you have the ability to set some really fast lap times, and if he's fighting traffic at all, it could cost him an opportunity to get back to the race lead, or wherever he was running.
We got a new member of the booth here. Parker Kligerman, who was just out on track, has retired the car and decided it's going to be much more fun to finish this race out in the booth.
Hi, guys. Yep.
Parker,
You still manages to have perfect hair, too.
you should have showered because you're sweaty and gross. It looked like it was a lot of work out there.
It was. It was a tremendous amount of work. Felt like we had the Thankin E-Racer assist Chevy, coming through the field nicely. Bob, Bryant, and I were on that alternate strategy. It was going to work out. And then I missed my stall there because it was the first one. And then it was a downhill slide from there. So Well, that was tough. Tough pass out there, guys. Tough.
Certainly is, and Parker, we don't envy the situation you were in. Limited practice, limited time on track compared to these guys have been testing for this race. I know a few of these guys who actually helped me come up with the idea, make it what it is right now. They've been testing for over a month for this race, and this means a lot to them, not just because of the money, but because of the amount of the difficulty level. It's huge bragging rights if you can walk away with the win here.
I hear you, man. It is really tough. My left arm hurts. My right shoulder is on fire. So I'm sweaty, of course, and as Landon pointed out, and it's really, really hard. I think I was probably like a 28th place car, to be honest. I was not anywhere near being top 25 or top 20 or even being sort of the front guys. So I needed some crazy strategy to work out. But unfortunately, we damaged the car there and couldn't continue further. I was too slow.
Well, Parker, I'll tell you, and Blake, you're gonna love to hear this. Having assist on board, Blake, I don't know what your number is at yet that you've raised, but I just got a message from Aaron Studwell at Race Weather on Twitter. He wants to match your combined donation. So.
All right, I'll match it as well. Why not?
That's awesome. Well, we just tripled it right there then.
There you go.
Hey, and for wrecking the car, I'll match it as well.
Awesome.
Well,
you guys are
well,
awesome.
Speaking of matching, Chris is the one going out there trying to put some laps led on the board to go ahead and raise money for assist, and he just went down pit road last time by, and so he's flying through the field.
I would quadruple it, but I put the $500 up to win, so I'm all out of money. I'm gonna have to eat ramen all week, but this is well worth it, guys.
Love it.
All right, well that's awesome. Thank you for matching that. Everybody who's doing that, that's awesome. I'm sure I'm about to get some texts from my brother in Japan who's tuned in as he does for all these big events, and I'm sure he is going to be thrilled.
Yep, and of course you can count me in. That's such a good-looking race car, so we appreciate you running it. Thanks, Parker, and thanks, Aaron, for getting the hype train started here on the broadcast.
Here we go, guys. Battle for the race lead. Seth the Merchant, and this.
Oh, we got a wreck in the back.
Oh,
that's gonna bring the caution out. Oh,
and we have a caution.
Eric Smith.
Man, I was about to give the most amazing pass on the outside. The Ryan. Oh, I have to remember the name of that award. We have a pass on the outside award, but Seth the Merchant was so close to getting that race lead, guys.
And Chris Overland was just about to unlap himself too.
Just so you guys know, that was Ryan Doucette that was involved in that one.
Yeah, we'll go back and look at it.
He got punted
man.
by Breyer LaPrade going into turn 3. Almost collected the 48 car as well, but he managed to keep it underneath him.
Yeah, I'll take a look at it here, and that's before corner entry right there. Is he and LaPrade got? And see, this is what makes this so difficult. LaPrade sees that he has a faster car approaching him on the inside. That's Brad Wright, who has fresher tire, or didn't have, actually, yeah, had fresher tires than them. So LaPrade's trying to give him room and go under Doucette at the same time. Doucette gets a little bit loose, and so does Breyer, kind of checking him up. And again, the hardest parts of this racetrack seem to be middle of the back straightaway and entering turn 1, and that's where we've seen both caution flags come out.
And we've got a heck of a race off pit road. Looks like Colin Keister's going to edge out Seth the Merchant there. But I was going to say, guys, I think Seth the Merchant was $50 away, or a couple seconds away from $50, because that was going to be the most amazing pass on the outside all night. And we've got Andy Hunter, who donated last minute to the best pass on the outside award, and I think I got really excited for that. But let's go back and we'll take a look at the replay now. I was trying to remember the name of the award.
Who was the top car here? Because I was doing a lot of fighting in the back. Never could really.
Oh,
see who was up.
it's been an ebb and flow. I don't think anybody's established themselves really as the top dog here.
Like, I think you got about 10 that are probably up around the front right now that you could really count as contenders, but it's so hard to tell with all the different strategies we've had all day.
But here's the interesting part. So what I was seeing out there was, first 20 laps, kind of everyone was the same, right? In this group, when we were in the 125s, it was like 15 laps you started to see comers and goers. These guys, though, I'm just thinking top of the game, it's like 30 laps before we saw comers and goers. So
Sorry, we're looking at the replay. Yeah, Ryan Doucette just got turned around. Oh, Eric Smith he's done. He's got a lot of damage there. May not be out of the race, but yeah, those guys are really having issues.
This is the wreck I needed.
Yeah. All right. Go ahead and get live.
You were the lucky dog, in position for the lucky dog when you came down pit road.
We got we got a number of wave arounds, it looks like.
Got about 5 cars going to be waving around here.
Yeah. Donovan Strauss, Brad Wright, Corey Carpenter, Jake Nichols, Santiago Tierra going to wave around here. And I'm going to try to hit the restroom really quick, guys. I'll keep it on the race leader here. But yeah.
Oh, producer's out. Producer commentator.
Make it quick. We're coming to 1 to go.
Yeah, we're coming. I'm coming back.
Alrighty.
It's like classic Parker Kligerman pit stop Nürburgring.
That's right. Oh my gosh. I don't know. This would be a. You could probably most of these, especially these front cars, you can go way harder knowing that you just have about 40 laps. You can definitely. Yeah. So this is gonna be interesting because everyone's been doing the same amount of saving, knowing that they have to go so far, and now you can just go.
Well, now, Parker, I'll pose the question to you. Obviously the aggression level is going to kick up. Everybody knows that you don't have to think long run per se. What do you think is the threshold here? If we get a 3 or 4 lap run, do you think you'll see a lot of guys down pit road?
Yeah, you're going to need the tires. You're going to need it.
Okay, guys, I am back.
Fall off.
Yeah, with how many sets these guys have left, I feel like they're going to come probably every caution.
I think you'll see it early, but with 20 to go, it becomes, do you want to lose all that track position? And there could be some second guessing there.
Pace truck's going to pull in here.
You can also have a ton of contact in these cars that you can't really get away with in those cars. So
green flags in the air. Colin Keister's out in front. It looks like Seth the Merchant ain't going to have the start he's wanting. He's going to be falling back to 3rd right now on the outside of second place driver right now, Jimmy Mullis. Side by side, pretty much all the way through the field beyond that.
Oh, running up by the wall there for 3rd, side by side. Jimmy Mullis to the inside, DeMerchant to the outside. Again, the best of the best. DeMerchant rolling through the middle, and that middle line, it's a great passing groove. DeMerchant going to look high for a lead.
Seth the Merchant's going to take back 2nd place here and start to work on Colin Keister in front of him, just barely a quarter of a car length ahead.
DeMerchant was barely able to get down there in front of Jimmy. You see Keister sliding off the corner. Danny Hansen, where has he come from? We've seen him all week. He's had a ton of short run speed. Here's the view from DeMerchant's seat. Golly. You can just see from the wheel input how hard they're driving. It's all about being smooth, but you can see right there, they are wheeling the heck out of it right now.
But there's still enough laps to go that, I mean, you can take off and burn your tires up a little bit.
That's true.
But I mean, if you restarted 5th, 6th right now, I think that you're going as hard as you can, try to get in the lead.
Oh wow! Look at this.
Oh,
here you go.
Got to the right rear.
$50.
This might be the $50 right here, guys.
Still right there. He's at his number. He's not cleared him quite yet. Oh man.
Where's the side draft when you need it?
Right.
Oh, there it is, right there.
Down on the right when you need it.
Oh man, even on the back. This is gonna be a drag race down the back stretch.
Gonna be one of them classic Atlanta passes. and I think he's able to do it. He's going to pinch
there he is.
Keister off there. Oh, masterful job there by DeMerchant.
What a move.
What a move, guy.
I think Jimmy Mullis saw what just happened there, and he's going to try and replicate it to try and get second.
Yeah, I think Keister, which again, you got to think DeMerchant and Mullis, by doing this, they're burning off those tires, so that's not going to be good for that for the long run pace if we do get a long run. But obviously, they're winning the track position battle. Now Mullis is going to look to the inside for the lead.
And these guys are lapping a little bit fast, but one guy that I've seen who can potentially run really hard out front and keep the lead is Seth DeMerchant. Haven't seen enough data from Jimmy Mullis to know whether or not he can contend for this, but looking good right now.
Well, I think the one key that you look at is who's running the middle right now. Isaac Gann was in third. He's on his own, and look, he's running the middle. I remember talking to Isaac earlier today. He said you can't run the middle until midway through the run, but it's faster. So obviously the tire saving is out the door. You can see this top three, they're showing that quite easily as they're pulling away. Now, Gann, get a look to the middle for a second. Oh, man.
This is wild, guys.
Somebody tell them they still got about 38 more laps to go. This ain't lap 194. You still got more to go.
Yeah, I think these guys can handle it though. I think they can potentially manage the tires at the end of this run. These guys, these three are three of about 6 drivers that I think I've seen be able to hold on to this thing when the tires wear out.
And wow, look at Gann easily around Jimmy Mullis. So now Gann's going to look for the lead for a moment. Oh, he's going to get a great drive off of 2 to the inside.
Yeah, these two have elevated themselves. Isaac Gann, Seth DeMerchant, they have been so passionate. As Gann sends it in the 3, these guys have been so passionate about this race.
We got trouble in the back, guys. Oh, Eric Smith is around.
Oh, there's the caution. Caution flag is just out, and
it looks like DeMerchant's going to hold it.
Yeah, it's timing and score. He's going to give that one to DeMerchant, but it was a battle at the front.
Let's go back and take a look right now, guys.
Contact between Eric Smith and Donovan Strauss going into 3.
Oh, yeah, it looks like Donnie maybe got in there a little hot. Maybe Eric checked up a little too soon. I couldn't possibly tell you, but we're going to have caution.
Well, and the interesting is, so obviously Smith gets sideways. He pretty much has it saved. He's on the apron. He has the wheel straight, and then he kind of gasses it up and kind of turns it around. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
You got to get tires here.
Everybody's gonna be pitting, I hope.
Oh, gotta watch out for that yellow line and that orange cone. Parker knows that.
So Brian, is this your chance to take 2?
I think it was too long on the tires. I don't know, Landon. I just don't know.
I mean, there's still 30 laps to go.
Yeah, I don't think you can do
ways.
2 yet.
It's a long ways.
No way.
30
No
laps. 30 laps
I mean,
feels
you're
like
just
50
hoping for
laps.
a quick caution, or maybe 5 laps and a caution, you know.
Yeah. 30 laps here.
DeMerchant, a great exit off. Oh, but here comes Gann. We'll see who has it at the line.
Merchant.
Yeah, it looks like Gann, he had that advantage of that second pit stall, but just wasn't able to get it.
Tyler Gary has got to be just ecstatic right now. He's been working all race to just try and get that lap back, and he just got the free pass that time.
Another thing, guys, like if you're running 35th there, if you take 2, I think you're gonna restart around like 16th. So I don't know, Joe was talking about in my chat about 35th. Why not? I think if you stay out, you're a sitting duck. That would get you the lead. But I think if you take 2, it's not going to get you the lead necessarily.
Well, and this is what I was talking about. I guess I should have phrased that question earlier to Parker a little bit differently when you bring up tires and if we get these short runs. But, if there's 7 or 8 laps to go, you have 3 or 4 lap old tires, and there's you're going to restart with like 7 to go. That's where it gets really, really interesting because if you're 15th on back, why wouldn't you pit? You have nothing to lose, and if you're up front, you can't give up that track position. So that's where it could get really, really interesting. Which, by the way, Brian, remind us of how many green-white checkered attempts we have.
3 green-white checkers attempts.
Oh
Sorry,
boy.
got popcorn in my mouth.
Hey boys, I'm gonna go watch the rest of this broadcast off here. I'm gonna go shower, and I gotta be up 5 a.m. tomorrow. So
Oh boy. All right.
thanks
Oh
for
my
putting it
goodness.
together, man. This was fun.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Parker.
Thanks for
All
coming.
right, thanks for wheeling that car around.
Yeah. Thanks for the ride. Thanks for the opportunity, guys. I look forward to the finish. This is gonna be wild.
Oh
Great
yeah.
event.
Yeah, don't want to miss this one.
So here we are. We're coming to 2 to go, or we're at 2 to go right now. Coming to 1 to go this time by. It's gonna be a wild restart.
Uh,
Oh yeah.
It's great to see these guys kind of being put in a position that they haven't throughout this entire event, is running side by side. And right now, most of these guys were probably running 75-80% trying to save tires. These guys are going to go 100% from here to the end, because they're worried about wrecking for 15th, wrecking up front. And obviously that battle between DeMerchant and Gann that was side by side right there when the caution came out, that could determine this race, having control of this restart right here. So it's just I think we're not holding anything back anymore. It's full steam here to the end. Who is that talking over the I think somebody's imitating a Boston accent right now.
That's Chris Henyon.
I gotta say, it's a really good accent. If that's not his real voice.
It's looks like it's Real Fala's spotter tonight.
Oh yeah, Chris Henyon's got, man, he's just hilarious. He was really one of the drivers that almost made the show. Just got hit under caution in a twin 125. Very easily could have made the show. But shout out to Chris Henyon, by the way. Just really solid member of the community. Been around forever. As we go green. Ready to go green?
I'm ready to go green. All right, let's see here. This is really interesting. DeMerchant gets a great launch. A lot of these guys.
4 wide down the front.
Oh, man.
Yep. It's go time now.
Yeah, no holding back. You see 3 wide right there around where Chris Overland's running. Still side by side for second between Mullis and Gann. Gann going to clear it, and now he's going to go for the lead.
The battle resumes. Isaac Gann, Seth the Merchant. I think these guys, as Gann gets a little more sideways than he wanted to off of 4 there.
Yeah, you see, but he's going to try to chase the Merchant up the racetrack here on the front straightaway.
Oh no, trouble! Contact! Save it! He saved it!
He saves it! How did he save that race car?
What an
Oh
incredible save.
my! Seth the Merchant made the save
you
of
ever.
the year, right there in front of our eyes, and he's not out of it. He's back to 4th.
I mean, I think the tires are obviously hurt, but he's still in it. He's still in the top 5, and that could have been the field right there. Incredible.
Is there an award for that? Because there should be. That was
we have to
absolutely
make an award.
incredible.
We have to make an award. That was unbelievable.
4 wide going down the backstretch right now, going into turn 3 right now. They're gonna think better of it, go 3 wide, through 3 and 4.
All right. Oh man, yeah, you can see. God, they are stacked up here on back. You see Connor Horn in the middle again. I can't tell you how many times I feel like I've said that tonight. Eddie Ball now trying to make it work. You see this 3rd lane just hasn't been in play all night for Brandon Cattell as he's almost into Eddie. Oh man, there's no.
Oh, there they go.
There's gonna be a wreck on the backstretch, and that's gonna take out 3, 4 drivers. Gonna string up. Oh, that's a big one.
No.
6 or 7 cars are involved in that wreck.
Eddie Kerner just got T-boned by Tyler Gary, and he flipped 3 or 4 times.
Oh man, that's not the bowling ball Eddie wanted to be.
No, and again, they were just jockeying so hard. This was the battle for about 17th.
Oh yeah, they
And-
were just 3 wide there, and Tucker Minter looked like he didn't realize that. Didn't quite give enough to Eddie there, and Brandon realizes they're making contact, tries to slow up, and does the right thing there. What a good move by Brandon there. A lot of awareness.
Man,
Oh, and Mitchell
yeah.
gets hit from behind. Eddie's going to get a little bit of right front damage. And
Yeah, and I think even you hear Tucker right now talking about that staggered 3 wide. It's so hard to know if you're 3 right there because obviously he can see Kerner to his outside.
oh,
and
Eddie. Oh no, Eddie Kerner. Yeah, that's going to be
Man,
end of the show for Eddie. Oh, buddy.
he it looks like he got a spare though, or a strike with that pin layout. So
As we got action on pit road now.
Danny Hansen, Bobby Zielinski, and it looks like one other driver, no, 2 others, Jake Nichols and Dylan Alt. They have stayed out. Or Dylan Alt's
Oh.
good. He's going to be waiting around the pace car. But
Yeah, looks like Colin Bowden. Yep, you're right. Colin Bowden, Jake
No.
Nichols, Bobby Zielinski, Danny Hansen. That's not a buffer. They're
Jake
not,
Nichols too.
unless we get cautions over and over again, they're not going to be able to hold on to the lead there.
no, I mean, that's 24 laps
No
on the
way.
tires.
No
That's
way.
going to be a lot.
Well, I believe that was only about, I'm showing on ATVO is about
They're
six
about
or 7
9
laps.
laps on.
Yeah.
7 laps green, 9 laps in total.
Yeah. So.
Now,
this-
we did have several drivers talk about going out there and getting a heat cycle on tires. Actually tightens the car up a little bit. So
Yeah, and one thing I thought that was interesting was Corey Carpenter the other day. Obviously, I practiced restarts after a 40-lap run, so luckily we won't have that tonight because I can tell you what, that was I was considering restarting in 4th gear if that tells you anything, but it seemed like Carpenter was pretty confident in the fact that the tires actually have more grip than you would imagine if you run about 10, 15 laps or so. So I think Hansen, Zielinski, and these guys, they could hook up pretty well here on the short run, at least taking off. But I can't imagine being even just a couple laps down on tires. They're not going to be able to hold on here. And how the field gets around them is going to be really interesting here because you have obviously 4 cars up here that are on old tires. Everybody's going to be going high, going low, going everywhere to try and get around them and get that track position quickly. And, I said shout out to the hotel Wi-Fi. Shout out to probably my neighbors who I'm surprised I haven't gotten at least 3 calls from the front desk right now telling me to shut up because I'm sure I'm not a great neighbor to have in the hotel right now.
Hold on, guys. I think did Kane possibly take 2 tires here? Let's take a look. Oh yeah. So we got a lot of
Yeah.
2-tire stops.
him and Connor Horn both got 2 tires there.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's another wrench in the plans of Isaac Gann.
I mean, here's my thought though. If you're Kane, where is he going to restart? Maybe 4th or 5th?
Yeah, he's gonna restart 5th.
He could possibly be the first car to get to the lead. It might take him 2 or 3 laps. And I mean, if he gets a quick caution after 5 laps and he's still in the top 3 or 4, that's a net gain.
It is. Yeah.
I think it helps.
Tires again. I mean, all the way up until there's only a couple laps to go, you need to keep coming down pit road.
Well, and I think
Yeah.
he's helped by the fact that you can't. We just haven't seen the very high line come into play. I'm not sure if we'll see Keister be able to go up almost to the wall to pass these guys. So Kane being on the bottom, if he can just get a nose around them, you're exactly right, Lana. I think he can get up there and potentially get the lead before the other guys catch him.
Gonna have at least a 20 lap or max a 20 lap run here. It could be much shorter than that with these slow cars out front.
Man, this is a long race. This is an enduro. Still got a
When does stage 1 in?
No, 20 laps, stage 1. Yeah.
All right, it's going to be pretty important, that playoff point.
Funny, we went almost the first 100 laps of green flag. Had been riddled with cautions, but here we go.
Pace truck
with
getting green
20
flag.
laps to go.
Pretty good getaway from the cars on old tires.
Ooh,
Oh,
we're
man,
going
here we
4
go for
wide.
the
This
lead.
isn't gonna work. Oh man, they get a stack up there. Sends one car out into the wall.
Is that Bob Bryant back there in the wall?
Yeah, that is. It's E-Racer Dodge.
Man, those E-Racer cars are just not having a good night.
I like the takeoff here from the old tires, though. This looks really good.
Trouble!
That's a big
Oh,
stack
man.
Up. Oh, that's gonna be
That's
big.
big,
No
yeah.
caution yet. No caution yet.
How?
How?
There's the
Wow.
caution.
And that was Danny
Wow.
Hansen that spun around there in front of the field.
Yeah, that would just I don't know, guys. Just putting yourself in that position. I know it's a shot to win, and if you get a bunch of yellows near the end, but you know that damaged Isaac Gann pretty good there. I think on his front end. Let's see here. We got to get a TV angle. Oh yeah, it looks like Kane is on two tires here, just a lot faster right now. Gann gets into the back. Bobby Zielinski around.
Bowden.
Oh.
Yeah, Zielinski, DeMerchant. Oh, maybe DeMerchant escapes that somehow. My goodness.
Oh, and oh man,
Gilliland.
gets and Cooley involved. Look, yep.
It's like
Lot of-
it looks like our Bob Bryant might have got some contact.
Bob Bryant.
That was certainly a long wreck.
You look at that, and you look at Kane Cook in that contact, and it's just so hard to judge how well those cars and old tires got through 1 and 2. I'm sure Kane didn't expect the speed difference to be that much in 3 and 4.
Look at Bob Bryant get through this wreck.
All right, let's. Oh man, what a view that is!
I stand corrected.
I think he was thinking he was going to get damaged there, but somehow he ends up. He would have been right in that. I mean, I know he loses a ton of track position, but I think he would have been right in the middle of all that if he stays there. So, able to avoid that pretty well.
So Jake Nichols in the race lead, guys.
So, but obviously Cook is able to escape. We see Gann. You mentioned he probably has some damage, but he has 4 fresh tires, so he is in a fantastic position right now to start on the front row.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of experience with the way that the current state of this damage model. Like, is that gonna really hurt his car? We've got DeMerchant back there who, you know, made that miraculous save. He's got a clean car. Maybe he can, you know, come back up through there. We got Jimmy Mullis. Looks like he's relatively clean. Oh no, he's got a little right front damage as well. So this is far, far, far from over, guys.
It is, and you know, this is what we were worried about here. That, you know, as soon as we got to a position where we started having cautions late, all that short run saving, it kind of goes out the window. I mean, we've seen, heck, if you've watched the NASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series here recently, especially to end the season, most of the races kind of played out the same way. Long green flag runs, you get a yellow in the kind of closing stages, and the rest of the race goes to chaos. And you know, a lot of those guys are in this race right now, so I think it's no surprise to see it playing out this way.
Yeah, somebody's excited. Cattell's up to 10th. You know, he was our Firecracker 400 winner. He's no stranger to big events, Landon.
We love big events.
That's a great quote.
We love big events so much.
They're the best.
This is a really big event. I'd say this is something you can really hang your hat on if you can somehow pull off the win here. Jake
Guys,
Nichols.
I believe here, at the moment, the hard charger is Seth DeMerchant in P5, so keep that in mind.
Oh yeah, he
Chris
started near the back.
Chris Overland's also tied for that in P7. They're both up 31 positions.
Oh, yep.
31, my goodness. I thought 21 was hard the other night.
And then Cattell's in P10 with 27, so he's not too far off of them.
All right, chat, you got to pick. Let us hear it.
Yep, you got a little bit of time here before we take the green. Who you got?
Our biggest loser as far as positions on track of our still running cars is Michael Cozy, who's down 19 positions in P25.
I'm just really interested to see how Gann's car is. I know he is too. He's probably wondering the same thing.
Well, at this point, you can't come in. You just gotta hope that those tires are gonna make the difference. We'll see it right here.
Pace truck is in. Jake Nichols gets a good launch outside, and the car behind him gets a little stacked up, but P2 and P4 are going to work on that outside. Oh, we got a wreck going into one, and that's going to take out another 4 or 5.
Oh, man.
No.
That's a big one.
Overland.
Oh my goodness.
Big wreck,
Oh,
yes.
man.
Yeah.
I am counting 10 cars, maybe 9, who got through that without a problem out in front. Other than that, lots of damage.
Wow. Somebody went in there full barrels ahead. They did not lift, and
Yeah.
they took out a few guys.
And that's not what we want to see. You know, we don't want to see those wrecks on those restarts, but this is exactly what Jake Nichols wanted to see.
Yeah, you see Overland hard damage. I think you see Cozy there. He has some damage. We see some smoke. I think that's just from a blinker up in front. Oh, man, we got to dissect this a little bit because that took out a good portion of the back half of the field. Golly, look how many cars were in that. And I think it's just an aggressive 3-wide move heading into one here.
I'm looking at that right now. What looks like what happens is Colin Keister starts to get up to Chris Overland and Connor Horn, who are side by side, and oh, man, Connor Horn getting put 3 wide here. Chris comes up in front of Colin and just turns, and that just takes out the field.
Not sure. You know, it's just Colin had such a great run going. He's obviously going to be aggressive with these guys who are, you know, taking no or 2 tires in front of them. Just you hate to see that.
Did Bob Bryant get through that again?
No, he got clipped.
No.
Oh, shoot. Yeah,
I was about to
This is
say,
hard to
Greg,
survive 300, Brian.
yeah, it's turned into that. Man, you know, if we didn't have that first caution, it might have been clean to the end, but now things have ratcheted up, I guess you could say.
Oh, no doubt. And I mean, just looking at all the names right here, Anthony Burrows is in that, Alan Bowes, Danny Hansen obviously already had some damage, Bob Bryant, Corey Carpenter, Chris
Corey.
Overland, Dylan Alt looks like he may have gotten tagged.
Yeah, a lot.
Spencer E. Burns.
Yeah, Corey. That's too bad for Corey. He was looking forward to this one.
You know, you got to be thinking for Jake Nichols. He could have been back there in this if he would have pitted last time, or even originally when he wanted to pit. So this gets him farther ahead, out of all of that riffraff. So
I still have a hard time believing this is a race-winning call for Jake unless they have to continue doing this the whole time.
Yeah. One corner, I think he's done.
Yeah, but, you know, this may keep him in the money, obviously. Top 5, it still would bring home a payday, so it could be something that nets him something, but I really don't see this happen. I really think that Jimmy Mullis, 4 tires, a lot less damage on his car than what Isaac Gann has. I think he's in a fantastic position right now, and then obviously Seth the Merchant, the next car that's on 4 fresh tires, I think he's in a good spot as well. Oh man, but that's the thing. If we can't go green, those tires on, you know, those guys on 4 tires, they can't really use that advantage that they have. So we'll see what happens. Sure. I won't ask anybody for picks anymore because I think I asked people for picks and then all their picks just got crashed. So we won't do that again.
Game of Jones in chat brings up a good point. Jake was back in 25th to 30th before this, so. It's the old Steve Letarte strategy. If you're that far back, you got to do something. You got to just change up anything to try and get up there.
Yeah.
We got one of the drivers involved in that wreck there. Chris, how you doing? You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Took a couple hard hits. And gotta admit, I'm real frustrated right now. We had a nice run there going.
What happened, man? I saw you and Colin make contact. Like, what's your perspective there?
Yeah, you know, we were carving through the field. I made a couple moves 4 wide up top, you know, 4 wide in the middle. I always made sure everybody else had adequate room, but Colin seems to think that he can just drive into people. So it's the end of one of these things. I don't mind. You know, we're racing for a lot of money and a lot more pride here. So I mean, I'm pretty sure I showed what I could do right now.
Oh yeah, man,
Um,
you did great.
But it's a shame, you know, just poor racecraft ruins it for everybody. There's a lot of cars in that wreck, and I feel bad for everybody. I feel bad for Alan specifically. He and I always seem to find ourselves in the same wreck. But hey, man, we made some pretty good moves. We're
Yeah,
pretty
you
happy about that.
led the race there. That was really cool. I think you proved, man, you still got it. You're driving that thing, and we've got Jake Nichols going to lead him back to the green flag. What a race it has been, Chris.
Yep, I appreciate it. I'm gonna head out, guys. You guys enjoy the finish. Thank you for putting this on, Brian. This was amazing. It was really, really fun.
All right, thanks, Chris. Appreciate it. Green flag.
Nope. Yeah, Chris will move on. 10 laps to go here. Jake Nichols, another great restart. We'll see how they sort things out behind them. Isaac Gann and Mullis nearly made contact. This is for second. Kane Cook going to roll on the high side for third. And you can't forget Connor Horn. He's a part of this battle as well.
Oh, we got a car on the wall down the back. It looks like it's Briar LaPrade, but Jake Nichols holding on for right now.
Oh man, they
No, they're
almost wrecked.
4 wide
They're 4
back
wide
there.
now.
They're able to
Wow.
keep it straight. How about Jake Nichols still hanging on? Goes
Yeah.
an entire lap and still has a pretty decent lead on everybody. Oh, but here comes Mullis, 4 fresh tires. I
And,
think that's the advantage you see. Not a lot of damage on his car.
Yeah, and you know, Jake even has some damage on his car. It's amazing that he's able to hold on like this.
Oh, he's done a great job. He'll bring it to the bottom side here in 3 and 4. It'll be 8 laps to go across the stripe this time. That is the scheduled distance, of course, that we're looking to end here at Atlanta. Nichols, it is Mullis at the line by just a nose over Isaac Gann, who's doing all he can to hang on. And then, of course, behind them, it's DeMerchant, it's Cook. That's the battle for 5th.
Oh man, Jimmy's all over the back bumper right now, and he's taking a look to the inside. Oh no! Contact for second, and that's going to allow Jake Nichols to retain the race lead. I thought it was over for Jake.
Oh, we got them spinning back here.
Oh, they
We got
save
a
it.
wreck.
Oh,
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
Still
my
saving
God.
it. So how did they save that?
we got one car into the wall.
We
That's
really
all there
let's
is.
keep it green, guys. Keep it green.
Smith Bell rolling down the front stretch.
Keep it
But
green,
not
guys.
for a caution. They're on.
Keep it green.
Track is clear. Green
This
flag is going to stay out.
Yeah, they're flipping through the grass, but here comes Jimmy Mullis. He has the tires, and he has the speed to the bottom here in 3 and 4, all the way to the white line over Jake Nichols. DeMerchant close in tow, but Mullis looking for the lead off of 4.
Oh, 3 wide off of turn 4. Jake's not going to give this up, guys. He's, you know, in that outside lane. He can make ground. He can, you know, start to pull back Jimmy as he, you know, off the turn specifically. There he goes.
And Nichols doing a great job. The Mopars flexing their muscles here. Nichols in first. You got a Toyota on the inside, and DeMerchant still. He's making up ground as they battle up here for the race lead again. Can Mullis clear him? It looks like he might be able to. The
it's
Coca-Cola
close.
Toyota to the top spot.
Jimmy Mullis and Jake Nichols going to look to the inside. He's going to give it a shot.
It
As
looks like Nichols
Seth the Merchant is coming, guys.
He is, and Nichols is going to slide off the corner. This is exactly what Seth needs.
We got a big stack
think-
up for about 9th place right there. Someone almost lost it off of 2.
I think
3 wide now.
for Jake, his best play here is to let Seth go and see if, you know, Seth can possibly get up there and start battling Jimmy for the race lead.
Merchant is fast. He doesn't have a bit of damage on that race car. That save could win him the race. Mullis is out front, though. Can DeMerchant run him down? He's got 4 laps to do it.
And does the caution fly?
Of
Seth
course,
the Merchant and Jimmy Mullis are on the same lap of tires, so working his way through the field.
Yeah, the Merchant just recovering
by
from
the
that
way,
spin.
here
Or
comes
half
Ford
spin.
time. He's up moving into the 3rd spot.
Yeah, here he comes. Making a move on Jake Nichols as we're keeping focused on this battle for the top 2, but
3 laps to go now.
Merchant with the time makeup, but it's just a couple of hundredths. It's not going to be enough to run down Mullis if this pace continues. Alfala able to get by Nichols. That's for third.
Oh,
Nichols going to have to hold
we
off
got-
Kane. They're sliding in the back. That's Freenage and the 48 of Brandon Cattell, but they save it.
Coming to 2 laps to go this time by. It's now or never for Seth the Merchant and Ray Alfala if they want to even get a chance at winning this race.
The Merchant leaving everything out there, 32-1. Another 32-1 for Jimmy, but the Merchant is slightly faster. He's going to go to the middle, doing everything he can, sliding off the corner, but Mullis still hanging on strong out front.
Half a lap to go till we get to the white flag, and if we take that white flag, it's over. This race is going to end under green flag conditions.
And Mullis gets their white flag in the air. One more trip around for the Coca-Cola Toyota Camry of Jimmy Mullis, who obviously was in the right place at the right time, has the tires, and it looks like he's got enough to hold off the Merchant into 3 and 4 for the final time. And Jimmy Mullis is going to be able to do it. Big events or where names are made, Jimmy Mullis is going to win the Hard to Drive 300 here at Atlanta.
As they crash in the back, more cars on the roofs.
Man.
There you go. Seth
Little-
the Merchant's giving a little love tap right there.
Yeah. Wow, guys. I was on the edge of my seat that whole lap.
What a great race, Brian. Wonderful job.
I forgot
man.
to even switch to the leader when he crossed the line. Man, what a race for Jimmy.
Yeah, what a run.
That was he didn't necessarily have dominant speed, but he was just smooth, consistent, like we said, methodical, minded his own race, and gonna take the checkered flag. Wow, congratulations, Jimmy. This is such a big win for him. I know this means a lot, and he's gone through a tough year, both on the sim and out, so I know he's just probably ecstatic right now.
You got a surprise, don't you, Brian?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We got a surprise, guys. So, I saved this just for Jimmy. Got a popper here. Woo! Congratulations, Jimmy. We'll do one more. Try to... There you go.
Sounded like the lightning strike that Josh had yesterday, but what an incredible job by Jimmy. And I think what Chris pointed to earlier, racecraft. You think about racecraft and who the best in the business are at it. Look at your top 5 right now. Jimmy Mullis, Seth the Merchant, Ray Alfala, 4-time champion DWC. Kane Cook finishes up in 4th. Jake Nichols finishes in 5th. An incredible call. I know we said it wasn't a race-winning move, but it still nets him into the top 5.
Yeah, great move.
Race.
Yep, and thankfully we've got prizes for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, down the line. So I want to give all these guys $500 for putting on that show. That was just incredible.
And we have our race winner in here now, Jimmy Mullis.
Jimmy, you got a copy, man?
Yes, sir.
How about that? Did you anticipate all that happening?
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah, the whole last 100 laps, I was just trying to put myself in a position to even be in the conversation, and everything kind of just fell right for me. I'm pretty speechless, man. Those last couple laps there were absolutely, just
stressful,
insane, and stressful. I can't even find the words. My heart was beating out of my chest, and to hold off somebody like Seth and Ray. I know we all had damage up there, but still to be able to do that is pretty cool, and it's awesome to win this event for sure.
Yeah, Jimmy, man. Oh, you kind of survived. You obviously had the pace to go up there, take the lead on the long run. We saw that. We saw how methodical you were. On that front stretch. I noticed you would take it a little bit easy through there. You take a unique line. You had an interesting strategy, but then when you needed to turn it up at the end, you did. And I mean, talk about Seth there at the end. He was just coming.
Yeah, I knew Seth was going to be the one to beat. I know on that really long run we had where we had green flag stops, he was by far the fastest car on track. And, I hate that we didn't get to completely, go green there and race it out, because I was interested to see before those yellows happened, how that was going to go. But yeah, he was flying. I knew I had to, give it everything I had. And like you said, had to turn it up at the right time. And fortunately it all worked out.
Yeah, we saw the save, that Seth made in front of the field, and that was kind of crucial to how you kind of advanced up through there. Obviously, you had the speed, I think, to be like third, easily. And if it worked out right, you could easily go up there and win the race. But Isaac and Seth got together, and Seth made an amazing save. Can you talk about that moment?
That was terrifying. I thought my race was over in the center 1 and 2, and
you got a little damage on the front there. Yeah, you got a little damage.
Yeah.
Did you get damage from that one?
Yeah, I think that's what it was from. I know me and Isaac had a little bit of contact down the back on that last run there, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it was just from getting into the back of Seth. I was kind of anticipating him to gather it and get up to speed a little bit quicker than he did, but fortunately, we didn't end up wrecking there. And I guess for us to come home 1-2 after that whole situation is pretty sweet.
Yeah, I think Seth, is happy he was able to hold on that one, but you've got one of the most beautiful paint schemes in the field right now. I'm looking at it. We got it on the broadcast. Can you talk a little bit about this too?
Yeah. So actually, JD painted this thing as he does with all my stuff. JD at JDR Graphics, and he did a car on NR 2003 based off of a Kyle Busch type of scheme with the M&Ms, and he showed it to me, and I was like, I want that. Somehow, some way, make that into Coke. And he absolutely blew every idea I had out of the water. And this thing's got so much detail on it. It looks absolutely awesome, and I'm just glad I was able to get a win with not only him on the car, but Coke and Sunoco Sim Seats, and everybody that's a part of the Richmond Raceway program. And yeah, it feels good, man. I wouldn't have been able to do it without Zach spotting me there at the end. He, as he said in the chat, best spotter NA.
Yeah, I see him in the chat right now. He's saying best spotter in the business, I think. Wow. Just an incredible drive, incredible race. We would have loved to have seen that go caution free and, had the strategy play out that way. I was kind of excited to see the restarts, but I mean, overall, I would have liked to seen a little more green flag racing at the end, but I think the outcome, after all that, it might not have changed. Seth might have gotten you. I don't know. But you are the winner of the first annual Hard to Drive 300, and we hope to have many more of these in the future. So if you have any, I don't know if you have any final thoughts or anything, but thank you so much for coming out to the event.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks to you and everybody that was a part of this whole deal. These events are really fun, and we don't really see them too often. And I'm just fortunate to be able to be a part of them, and I appreciate you allowing all of us to get on here on what is this, Friday night, and go to war.
Yeah.
It's awesome. And
yeah,
like I said, just huge thanks to you, E-Racer, everybody, like I said, that was a part of making this happen. And I look forward to more events like this in the future.
Man, look at this right side, guys. It's a little beat up, but it doesn't matter now. I think Seth might have given you a little donut there. It was a congratulatory bump, but good job, Jimmy. I'm so proud that of how you drove and how that all played out. You did phenomenal, and congratulations once again.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, we got anybody else?
So we got King Cook.
What's up, boys?
Kane, what's up, man? How finished fourth on the day? How about that?
I was feeling really good the first run. I was like, I got over a second lead. We're gonna come in here, take tires. I'm gonna be able to save them and not have to, work my butt off racing 4 time. and Jake. Then I just took a little bit of a wrong angle, not paying attention. I mean, it wasn't like just a pure like idiot error. I mean, the car was on like you couldn't go full throttle on the straightaway, so you had to focus so much that when you're trying to enter pit road and you're checking to make sure if you can pit without announcing, and you're just strained and you mess up like that. And then I thought I was done because we went like 100 laps without a caution. I was still in like 40th,
Oh
and
man.
then someone messed up real bad and ended the flow of the race. And I gotta say thank you to whoever that was because that gave me a chance. I had to drive through a lot of the field, and I was like right about to be top 10 when the caution came out when I took 2 tires. I think that was the best call I could have made for the situation. I didn't mean to get into Danny there. I thought he was going to run the outside once we were already there, and then he like kind of stopped and wasn't really on the bottom, but he was like a half car width above it, and I don't know. I mean, some of you know what it's like when there's fresh tires behind you and there's no tires in front of you, and it's awkward. And I hate it for everybody that I messed up. I mean, Isaac had a great day going. I know that pretty much killed his car and his chance at winning money, so I feel really bad about that and all those guys. But I guess it worked out in the end with fourth. But man, that was a long day.
Yeah, a little bit longer than your typical races on iRacing. 300 miles. We typically go, maybe 134 laps, and we did almost 200.
Oh yeah, and it was crazy. So I didn't see many people making proper use of it out there. It wasn't dynamic track, like you weren't able to just go faster purely because the track was cool or anything. But
Right.
when the rubber kept getting ripped off the track and moving around, like this tire just loves rubber for tire wear purposes. So everybody else seemed to keep doing the run the white until they move up to the middle when their car starts feeling off. And felt like I was one of the only people that was really just trying to run wherever the rubber buildup was the whole race, almost like running the cushion. And it worked great for me the first run. It was working great the rest of the race too. But I mean, obviously, if I'm in 40th and 40 seconds behind wherever I was going to be, it's kind of hard to keep tabs on what's going on with the race.
Yeah. And we're going to set the merchant in real quick. But is there anybody you want to, maybe thank? Is there any spotters or crew chiefs that helped out tonight?
I was riding solo tonight. Thank you for Jake for letting me know that one accident when someone decided to pit without letting anybody know before turn 3 in front of the field that I had no damage. But besides that, just thank you to you guys for putting it on. Great broadcast. Love the ticker. And yeah, I messaged you about the music. I thought the music for the event was really good. And just the whole production. You did a great job for what you could with the box we're putting on here right now for giving us a raceable product.
Yeah.
And just thank you for the event, man. Like these are such joys to look forward to. Perfect compliment to DWC having big events every once in a while, and I look forward to the next one.
Yeah.
Sorry again to the field.
Oh, you're all good, man. We're probably gonna try to make this an annual event. It's a perfect timing. You guys are all done with Coke Series. We got Seth the Merchant in the booth. Seth, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, man.
Hey.
What save of the year? Definitely candidate. Maybe definitely in 3 and 4 there.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I mean, props to everybody for not running me over because I was like probably 20 miles an hour slower sliding in the middle of the track in front of the whole field, and somehow we all gathered it up and kept going.
Yeah, and a great paint scheme, great driver, great battle with Isaac Gann there. I think you two were the class of the field, and you were showing it there at the end. And we didn't quite get that epic battle. I think we had a caution there a little bit later on that kind of ruined your amazing battle with Isaac. But then we had a round of stops. Like there's just so much going on, and couldn't quite get back to the lead there.
Yeah, I think I just needed a little bit more green flag there. The caution coming to around 40 to go, right as I was passing Keister for the lead. I think if it would have stayed green there, I think I had a really good shot because I had saved my tires pretty much that whole run, and it was pretty much the perfect distance for the pace I think I was setting. And then through the short runs, I think Isaac was the fastest out of all of us for those short runs there, but I think he got caught up in that wreck a little bit, and then he got into me, and I don't even know what happened, but we somehow got back by him again, and just I think we were probably 4 or 5 laps away from me and Jimmy having a side by side finish there.
Yeah,
For the one, it would have been close.
I-
I was slightly reeling him in, but it wasn't by much. But I think right at the end it started getting bigger and bigger.
we
and,
were looking at the lap times, and it was about 500s a lap, or it was a few hundreds a lap, and I was just thinking, man, if this is 5 laps longer, like Seth, we're gonna have like a classic Atlanta. And as much as I love Jimmy, I kind of wanted to see a photo finish.
Yeah,
And it was
with like 3 to
forward.
go, I slightly changed my lineup, and I think that's what did it. I just did it a little too late, and I didn't get through traffic as fast as he did through Kane and Jake there, and the gap was just too big. But I mean, I'll take a 36th to second place finish.
Yeah, awesome. Well, you've got Horizon on the quarter panel. Anybody else you want to thank?
Just JD for painting the cars. I know he did a lot of cars in here, a lot of really good looking cars, and then just you guys for putting on the race. Everything you've been doing. These events are my favorite things to do on iRacing, so just thanks for you guys.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming, and we appreciate all your, help, during those practice sessions. I had no idea it was going to be like this at the end of the day, but, we did a few runs together and really enjoyed it. And we're gonna make a commitment to doing this every year, I think, because this is just too good not to.
Yeah, dude.
All right.
Well, also, Seth the Merchant, you're going to win our Hard Charger Award for getting those 34 positions. Good job on that.
Thank you.
Yeah, and, you got 300 iRacing credits. Not too bad.
Yeah. Hey, use the Black Friday discount code, and I'm gonna renew my account here.
Awesome. Well, we're glad that, it's not all or nothing, and you do walk away with some prizes. That's really cool. We also got a couple other guys in the chat here. We got Bobby Zielinski, Connor Horn. Who wants to go first? Bobby, you there?
What's up?
Because you had the speeding penalty when you were dude. I think you practiced more than you let on, because you flying through the field.
All I did was like about a couple hours before the qualifying, because I didn't want to go into this race like super serious, because I wanted to have fun,
Yeah.
Put in a lot of practice and you draw these runs, you tend to like take it more seriously than fun. And this was clearly something I just wanted to have fun with. And I did some runs in the warm up before the race started, and I got a good feel of it, and kind of got the idea of how to make the tires last. And I just wanted to come out, have fun, hopefully get some long runs. And I was really surprised that we were so good on long runs, because I just never am. But race didn't end well, but it's fine. I had fun.
Yeah, you definitely showed us earlier in the race. We'll go back to that on the replay. You were making your way up through there, and I was saying, I think who'd you take the lead from? I think it was it Colin? Or
Yeah, on the second of the 250 lap runs or whatever, in that first 100 laps, I forget who I took it from on the first one, because right when I got to everybody, they started pitting. So yeah, it was the second run I got by Colin. But yeah, I figured something out, I guess, to keep the rear tires on it, mainly because I was able to just motor people like down the straightaway, especially down the front stretch, which was just, I've never experienced that before, like in a race. So
yeah, and it was just such an ebb and flow of you had guys on potentially a one stop longer strategy, and then 3 stops, 4 stops. We were trying to figure it out. And then you had Bob Bryant, who was going like 63 laps on a tank or something silly. We couldn't keep track of it all, so you'll see that in the broadcast. There was so much going on, and we probably missed a few things. But you got anybody you want to thank, Bob?
of course, virtual racing school on the car, like always, the best place to go to learn how to drive and get better and improve. And you gotta thank you for putting this on, because I mentioned it in qualifying, like I didn't get to race these things ever.
Yeah.
And I watched the series a bit even before I was on iRacing with guys like Ray and racing these cars. So it's cool to race them again. It's cool to have horsepower again. Not very much downforce. And just the tire saving and everything. It was a good time. I had a good time. Thank you for putting it on.
Awesome. Well, we're glad you
And
had a good
everybody
time.
involved.
Yeah.
I don't want to just thank you. I gotta thank everybody involved.
Well, by you we mean everybody. I mean Blake and Josh and a lot of guys have just been so committed to this throughout the week, and we're not really, we're not getting paid. We're just, I think only in the hole about like a couple $100 now with all the subs and stuff. So that's pretty cool. And congratulations, great run. I think that's a confidence booster for sure. To drive the way you did. We got Connor Horn also in the booth. Connor, you there?
Yep.
Awesome. Well, Blake, you take care of this interview. I've been talking too much.
All right, I can get you there, Brian. But the one thing, Connor, I feel like every time I looked at your race car, I was having to say, "Oh, look, Connor Horn up the middle, 3 wide." Just you're able to make some moves there in the middle of the racetrack. But it just seemed every time we saw that Outback Steakhouse machine, you were somehow between 2 cars.
Yeah, we were really wheeling back there, especially like it was around like 10th to like 14th, especially like the third quarter of the race. It was really intense back there. The start of the race was pretty good. I think I gained around 11 spots before we came on our strategy. We're gonna do 4 stops, pit every 39 laps. It was working out pretty well. Me, Tucker, Andrew, a few others that were on the same strategy. Tucker was gone. If that race went green all the way, I think Tucker had it won, and I think we would have had a real good shot at a top 5, maybe hold on to the top 3. Ultimately, the yellow came out at unfortunate time. We got stuck about where we started, a bit better than we started, but it was still a bit frustrating. We kind of back to square one there, and it was really a struggle. It was odd in the back of that pack there because at that point it was a one-stop race. A lot of us, it's the beginning of a run, all of us were struggling to get to the bottom on a short run, and then when we realized the run was going long, everyone was trying to race to the top line. It wasn't a dynamic track, but when you know when to go, you got to kind of get to the middle line. You can't really get up to the front like that on the bottom because it was, especially because of how congested it was. So we had to make a lot of moves to the middle. Another yellow came out kind of in the same spot, and that's when the racing really got crazy. Well, that 40 lap run, like 116 to 156, whatever it was, hard racing. I think I'm trying to remember who was even back there. Blake. I was battling with Blake, Breyer, Cattell was back there. I think Mercurio. A lot of guys we were all struggling for grip and we were struggling to get by one another. I had to cut Blake a lot of breaks. We were racing very aggressively, but it was fun at the same time. I'm not gonna lie, I was frustrated with him in the moment, and I really did. I probably almost accidentally on purpose wrecked him, but in the end, it was pretty fun. It was fun wheeling it, and then around 20 to go, however long to go it was, we got up to about 10th or so, and the crew chief, because we saw the left sides on a short run weren't wearing too badly, we figured if we could get some track position, this is our moment, and we went for the 2 tires, along with Cade. A few people stayed out, and then those last 2 restarts, both times, Colin, he tried shooting the middle when there wasn't a gap. The first time, he hit my bumper, and then the second time, he tried gunning at middle for a hole that wasn't there, and he unfortunately took out Chris. That was unfortunate to see. We got really lucky with that. I think iRacing's netcode saved us there. So a lot of cars got messed up. Then the incident with Kane and Danny, we were able to get through that, kind of just stood in the middle to avoid that. So that was really rough. So at that point, we're just going all out, trying to go to the middle, trying to make any move we can. If we got to go, if there was an opportunity to go 5 wide, I was going to the apron. It was that sort of mood. So. And then that final run, I think it was 10 laps, just holding on in the middle for dear life. I think Cattell got into the back of me a number of times. I was able to hold on. And then there was an incident behind me at some point where it really sent those guys back. And I realized that's the gap I needed. I was able to kind of try to chase down the guys ahead of me, specifically Isaac, who was having a lot of damage. I was able to hold off Blake. I got by someone at the end there. I don't remember who it was. I think it was Isaac. I got by Isaac, and out of 4, I almost got Jake at the line, but it wasn't meant to be. I know I went on for a while there, but all in all, I'm really happy to get 6th. I mean, that was amazing. That was so much fun.
Awesome, man. Yeah, you had a great run, and this is what this event's all about, opening it up to everybody to, race against some of the top competition on the service. And I think that we all want more opportunities like that, you know, to race against guys like Ray Alfala or Jimmy Mullis or, you know, just all these big names, Bobby Zielinski that came out to run this race. I think we need more of this. So, and guys like you coming out here, you're the first guy that doesn't have a pro stripe. So, congratulations, great run, and this is like the underdog story. I think that you know, everybody was looking to see.
Yeah, I appreciate it from you. I mean, there's so many, and like you said, the big names to be able to battle with them side by side, especially Ray. I mean, it's kind of surreal it's just kind of shocking, honestly, to be around these guys and have the pace to somewhat hang with them on short runs for the most part. I feel like I had some long grid speed. I mean, it was crazy. I know I was in Andrew in the 88. We battle a lot. Seems like we're always next to each other in one of these races. Obviously, Blake, like you said, Zelensky, Jimmy. We didn't really get the Jimmy, but we raced pretty cleanly. I feel like Seth was obviously fast. Kane Cook. I mean, he's hard to beat any day. It just, you know, the list goes on. It's a stacked field, and it's a stacked field for a reason. And to be able to get a sixth place out of, especially with the way we were able to hold on for sixth place against the field that we had to hold off on that final restart. I mean, it's really special. It really is.
Awesome. Well, that's Connor Horn. Thank you, Connor, for coming out, and I hope to see you in the next one. We'll be, you know, we said earlier this is going to be an annual event. I think this is perfect timing. We'll probably have I think we'll have a couple more. Obviously, E-Racer putting this on, but, you know, I've got a couple ideas for possibly you know, maybe an event every 3 to 4 months. I think that's a good amount of time to let people, you know, prepare for the next one, get ready, get hyped up. I'm really looking forward to you coming out to more of these.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be in it for whichever the next one is, whether it's a road course, short track, super speedway. I don't care. I'll be be there. I'm ready for anything. And a quick shout out to Brandon McKissick. We're not teammates, but we talk a lot. I was kind of using him to. We were trying to help myself a little bit to learn a bit off of him, and I feel like that kind of worked. He didn't get the finish he probably deserved, but it was fun racing him. And obviously, especially huge shout out to Jeremy Miller. He was spotting me the whole race, and he was the one that made that 2-tire call. Really, I wasn't really feeling it, but he made the call, and it worked out amazingly. So a huge shout out to him, and I'm just amazed that I'm here.
There you go, Landon's 2-tire call. He wanted to see it, and you know, Connor Horn made the best of it. You know, I just want to, you know, let whoever, we've got a few people in the channel. We got Josh, Jimmy, Connor, Blake, and AJ. We got a few people muted, but any closing thoughts? Like, I feel like I don't want the broadcast to end, but
can we just talk about how incredible it was to watch 43 of the best drivers on iRacing go out there for the first 100 laps, run green flag racing, do almost 2 full cycles of green flag pit stops, and then just go in and battle and brawl to get everything they can. How incredible that was to see that happen.
Yeah, I mean, I was expecting it to go green. Maybe not that long though, because it's so difficult to manage the traffic. You know, coming on and off pit road. We had 3 different strategies really. We had a 3-stop, 4-stop, 5, potentially a 5. No, it was maybe 2 stops, 3 stops, 4 stops. I don't know what Bryant strategy he was on, but it was maybe the Hail Mary, hope for a caution strategy. But we definitely had 2 strategies that just really shuffled things up, and just that was so cool.
Yeah, it absolutely was. And, you know, you says you want to make this an annual event. Well, you know my phone number. Ring me up. I'm right back here.
All right, cool. Hey, Bottom Split's in the chat. I hope they had a great broadcast. You know, we just want to we want to do this more often. It's so cool. And Blake, I would have loved to seen what you could do out there, man. What are your closing thoughts? You got any?
Well, obviously, yeah. As much as I appreciate you guys having me up here. It means a lot to me that I could just be in the booth and be able to help kind of move the race along. And I'm just like you guys. I'm having fun and just sitting here talking about them. I hope everybody out there enjoys it as much, if not more, than we did. But yeah, first thought, I wish I was in the car because I had so much fun the other night. There is that part of me, that competitive side of me right now that's just really, I won't say frustrated, but just kind of, it'll always be what if, if I was in the car tonight, how we could have done. No, it would have started in the back, but I think we could have had a chance to move forward here in a really strong field. But yeah, I mean, first off, hats off to you, Josh, everybody at E-Racer that put this on, because obviously, there's a reason that, guys like Jimmy Mullis win these races, and, they talk about how they're sweating and they're shaking and they're stressed out, trying to compete. And, these are guys that compete at the top ladders of anything in this, is because of how impactful these events can be, how special they are, and how well run they are. But simply put, this was just a racer's event. Everything from top to bottom was all about just giving the drivers something that was fun, something that was challenging. And, I think you're going to get the brunt of it. You're going to see a lot of guys reaching out and saying their thanks, and it's all very well deserved, because everything about this was great. The racing was awesome. Got some yellows there at the end, but I mean, that's competition. That's the way things go. But the way everything was done, the preparation, the setups, all the practices that were available, did a really nice job, and it makes it cool to be able to be a part of it. So thanks to you, Brian, and yeah, I know this is always the thing, but I'm just ready for the next one.
Yeah, me too. And big thank you to E-Racer. Obviously, it didn't start out an E-Racer event, but certainly finished that way. And Landon, Parker, Josh, you guys are awesome. And, I definitely want to work more with you guys. And I think this is we actually already have like a bunch of chatter on Twitter about like the next hard to drive 300 potentially, like what combination that might be. I'd love for this one to potentially stay with the NASCAR ranks, but maybe we obviously we can venture out to different tracks, and we can set up other events with different cars. I think maybe rebrand those things a little bit differently. Somebody said the Lotus 49 at Daytona on Twitter. I think that was Seth Eggers. There's a lot of ideas out there floating around now. This has got everybody's gears turning.
I tell you what, we still got high horsepower, low downforce Gen 6 in there. That legacy, the Chevy, the Fusion, the Camry, it's still out there. So, of course, that's always an option if you want to crank up the horsepower.
Yep. And
that's exciting.
I like horsepower. We need more horsepower.
Yeah, we like horsepower. I mean, you saw like we've had a lot of guys comment like the harder to drive it is, the cleaner the racing is. Obviously, we didn't see that like right at the end, but these guys are going for $500. You can't blame them. We're gonna have some wrecks. We're gonna see some cautions. It's part of the game, and we saw an amazing battle at the end. And I'm really proud of all the drivers. Just want to give a shout out to everybody who came out tonight. I know not all of them had the nights that they wanted to have, but every single one of you guys contributed to such a successful broadcast, a successful race. I think we tried to feature everybody, at least once, but we apologize if we missed you. Liam Brotherton had an amazing scheme. I don't think we called his name much. To see him fly by. But yeah, everybody, thank you to all the drivers, because without the drivers, this doesn't happen. Like there's no way that this is as cool as it is without the drivers. Like we had some of the best, and having a full field like this, guys that know what they're doing, who practice, put in effort, we really, really appreciate you guys for coming out. And even if you hated it, if you didn't like the setup, you didn't like this, that, the other thing, it was cool. It was a blast from the past, and I just that's really my closing thoughts. Is like, thank you so much to the drivers, because without this, it's nothing. Like we're just looking at a blank track.
Very true, and that's a good point. Couldn't do it without the drivers. So, thank you guys.
and good drivers too, because like there's very few people who can actually do this. There's very few people who can drive these cars the way we're driving them right now. And Blake, you're one of them. I'm excited for the next one. Blake, you gotta get yourself out of the booth for the next one. I'm calling it right now.
Yeah, I guess so. We'll have to. Well,
In-race
again,
reporter.
I'll have to make sure I'm not working next time. How about that?
You can be our in-race reporter.
There we go.
Well, I'd like to do more interviews, but I think we're kind of out of interviewees, if that's a word.
Yeah, I think everybody's kind of said their piece that wanted to come up here. So
Yeah. All right. Well, AJ, any closing thoughts from pit road down there? Pit road reporter.
Yeah, everybody's packing up their haulers and they're heading on out, cleaning up their scrap bumpers they got laying around.
Yeah.
It's a pretty awesome event. I think you guys summed it up pretty well. Can't wait for the next one.
Oh boy, I'm wringing out my fire suit from sweat still.
I'm still wearing the same. I only put on this shirt just for the broadcast. I'll show the webcam one last time. Thank you guys again. But yeah, this is the same shirt. I only put it on for the broadcast, but this thing definitely needs to go in the wash, because like I was just sweating out those last few laps for all those guys. I was putting myself in the driver's seat. I thought I was behind the wheel there for a moment. I just went radio silent there, I think, the last 5 laps. Okay. Cool. Well, we're going to rate somebody. If you have any suggestions, put it in the chat. We got 90 people watching.
if I try to load Twitch on this computer, it'd probably take 10 minutes. So I'll let you guys decide that.
Yeah.
See if any drivers are streaming.
We got Justice, Anthony Alfredo, Moonhead.
Ooh.
Hey, Anthony tried to run in the race.
Yeah, we gotta raid somebody who tried to run this one.
Quickly here, Brian. Donnie said Donnie's asking in the chat who won best car. Talk about the paid skis.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about that. That's a good point, Donnie. You know what? Let's show you guys. I think we got some finalists. Before we rate anybody, Donnie, you're the best. Thank you so much. We wanted to cover this before we went off air. But we do have some finalists. These are not all the finalists, but we have some in mind. So let me pull that up really quick. And finalist right here, we've got, that looks like Adam Gilliland's machine there. Let me pull it in so it's full screen. There we go. All right. Oh, and we got Tucker Minter, also a finalist, I think, for the diecast. Really great scheme as well. Donovan. Oh, next one. This is very impromptu, but we've got Anthony Alfredos, I think, was nominated. Oh, look at that. Blake McCandless, Parker Kligerman in the running. That's a beautiful scheme as well.
Have you thanked an eraser today?
We got Bob Bryant's machine. That is definitely a beautiful car. We have to put that one in the running.
Make sure to visit eraser.gg for events like this in the future.
All right, Donovan Strauss, you are a finalist for the diecast. We're gonna set up a vote, so we're not sure exactly. We haven't finalized all the details about the vote, but there will be a vote between all these finalists. And I don't think I have a screenshot of every last car that I wanted to be a finalist. We got Liam Brotherton also nominated. And Presley Sora, I think, is a finalist as well. Yep. Excuse me. And I forget the driver of this car, but DJ Harris Designs.
I think Nate Stewart.
Nate Stewart. All right, cool. And I think we had one more that I wanted to showcase. I think that's on Discord actually. One more, but you know we have a couple. I think that we have to definitely you had to put it in before qualifying, so that kind of narrows it down a little bit. So let's go ahead and.
Did you get Liam's in there?
Yep, we got Liam's, and I've got
the 98.
Yeah, I'm just trying to pull up one more. I think it was. It wasn't something. So shout out to D Natters. He did all the screenshots that you saw there. This one was not a screenshot from D Natters. Not quite nearly as good, but here we go. Look at that. The Mode Media House, number 24. That's another finalist as well for the diecast. So we'll be in touch with regarding that, and we'll set out a vote. Amongst. We might have to narrow it down a little bit to the top 5, but and if you didn't see your paint scheme on here, not totally out of the running, but I think we highlighted some pretty great schemes and a lot of great painters. I think Ace had some paint schemes amazing. He's definitely going to be highlighted in this voting. So thank you guys for doing this. This made the broadcast like a million times better. So. Thank you for all the painters out there who dedicated so many hours to putting on such an amazing show, with just the paint schemes themselves. I feel like I'm talking way too much, but let's go ahead. We're going to raid somebody now, I suppose. Let's see. Who do we got? Is you said Alfredo was streaming?
Yeah, but he's not doing iRacing right now. He's playing another game.
Okay. Well,
I saw Blake Near streaming.
Oh.
He tried qualifying for the event.
He did. Let's go ahead and see what Blake's up to. All right. Go ahead and pull up Twitch chat. All right.
Yeah, it's just Blake Near.
All right, thank you guys again for the people in the chat. We had so many strategies and things going on that we didn't really get to interact with the chat as much as I wanted to, but you guys are awesome. So thank you again. And we're going to be back soon with another event. So guys, you ready? Go see Blake Near?
Yes. Thank you guys. Thank you everybody who tuned in. You guys are what make these events so worth broadcasting. Thank you guys.
Yeah, and a lot of our viewers were actual drivers, actual painters, it's all a nice, really nice community that we got going here, and look forward to more. All right, Blake, we're gonna raid another Blake.
This guy's got a good name.
He does. All right. Kimmy, Emma, Dean Adders, Jake, Clobberts, Bearded Sim Racer, Ryan, thank you so much. We'll see you all soon. Liam Brotherton, everybody in the chat, thank you. All the drivers, everybody came out to watch. Let's go see Blake. He's running Homestead right now.
Congratulations to Jimmy again.
Yeah, good job, Jimmy. This is Jimmy's night. All right, 61, 62. Thanks, Clobberts. We'll see you next time. All right, we ready? We got 64 viewers. Let's go. 3, 2, 1. Good job, guys.
Thanks. Let me know when we're off here.
Pretty